Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of The Second Chances, brought to you by Cloaks and Capes. Before we get started, I do want to give our usual thank-outs. The first going to Critical Role, whose beautiful, wonderful, amazing world of Exandria we are using specifically. The campaign is currently taking place in Wildemount. And also a special thank you to Reliquary Records. All of the music that you hear in tonight's episode, and all of our previous episodes as well, is provided by Reliquary Records. They are DMCA free, so if you are a streamer and want some lo-fi, some EDM, or some rock type stuff, go check them out. So, last we left our party, the Second Chances, you all had left Eurosa on your way to the room of Shattengrod. You have been tasked by one of the Cerberus Assembly members to track down a thief who had taken an important magical artifact and was believed to be heading towards Shattengrod. In Eurosa, you happen to come across a drow who is the brother of the person that you are chasing, as well as stumble into Leaf's old group, the Coin Accord, who also seem to be going to Shattengrod for their own purposes. And everyone all together as one big traveling company decided to leave Eurosa for the ruins of Shattengrod. And on your way there, in the midst of the night, Rosalind was visited in her dreams by her other adoptive sister, Shadow. Thought to teach Roz a lesson of some sort and brought Kieran into that dream as well. And, was causing some significant pain to Kieran. So we're going to go ahead and jump right back in, right there, as Rosalind had awoken and rushed over to Kieran. Those of you, it's early-ish in the morning. I believe that, who was it that was on watch? Was it Hermia and Leaf, who were the last two on watch?
Yeah.
So yeah. Hermia, Leaf, you two are both awake. Roz, if you thought you might wake up, screaming or in distress or anything like that, anyone who wants to potentially have been roused by that, it's your choice. Yeah,
Roz does wake up with a panicked scream and immediately looks around for Kieran and scrambles over to him as soon as she does.
Yep, and you do see Kieran and Neosay both, kind of curled up around one another. Kieran looks to be drenched in sweat as well. You begin to shake him. No response. Shake again.
She is going to pump a lay on hands into Kieran.
Okay, and as you begin to do that, finally, Kieran goes, What? Roz, what are you doing? What are you...
Oh my God.
Oh, I had the worst dream. You were there. And, some weird-looking... No, tiefling-looking lady was there, too. She was not very nice. Oh, gosh.
Rosalind.
Scared as I've ever been in my life, I think.
Rosalind is shaking and looks at him and has tears dripping down her cheeks as she pulls him into just a tight hug.
Aww.
Okay. Yeah, it's all right there. And he reaches around and kind of pats you on the back as well.
I'm sorry.
What? Are we all awake if we want to be awake?
If you want to be. I mean, Rosalind screamed when she woke up. So.
What just happened? Did someone get attacked?
Kieran kind of oh.
I don't know, Leaf. I'm confused. Did we miss something?
Okay, so people on watch. What's happening?
I mean, Roz just woke up screaming. I didn't do it.
Roz, are you okay?
Roz does not look okay.
She kind of walks over and kneels down.
I had a nightmare and Roz was in it. But, I mean, it's not your fault. Nightmares happen.
Not to me.
Okay, well, it happened to me, so that still lines up.
I'm sorry. I've never... Are you okay?
I think so.
Physically.
Yeah? And he kind of looks down at himself and pats him. Seem okay.
Oh my God.
Maeve's just gonna start rubbing Roz's back. Hey, what? You had a shared dream?
I don't know. I don't. If that's
Wait, did you have the same dream too with the scary tiefling lady?
Tiefling lady.
Yeah, that's.
Why'd
that's
you
my
throw a guiding bolt at me then?
I threw it at her, but she moved you in the way.
Well, you need better aim then.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Hey,
That was. Kieran, that was my sister.
The one that you talked to?
No, not the one that I talked to.
the other one?
That was Shadow.
Hmm.
Well, I gotta
She,
say, I don't think that I like her very much.
Well,
Well,
she doesn't like me very much either.
She's not exactly a supportive sister.
I'm sorry. I don't know if that was real or if that was just us sharing a dream. I've never had a dream before. I mean, I've experienced things when I sleep, but it's your guys' past.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it felt pretty real.
Well,
Yeah, it did.
Well, I mean, if your one sister can talk to you, maybe this other sister can visit, the dream world.
As the initial shock of the moment starts to pass a little bit, she gets angry instead, and kind of grits her teeth, and she's gonna stand up and kind of march over to one of the trees. Light, are you there?
Always here.
Right. Listen, I need you to tell Shadow something for me. You tell her if she has a problem with me, she can talk to me and leave my friends out of it.
There's not much telling Shadow what to do, what not to do.
I'm just asking you to relay the message.
He knows.
How?
Friend is fine.
Yes, he is. But
You're fine.
I'm fine. Listen, if she wanted to make a point, she didn't need Kieran to make that point to me.
We're all just sitting here awkwardly. She's talking to herself.
How? Since when can she come into my dreams here? I'm not even supposed to dream.
It's a spell that she has access to.
Very well.
I wasn't aware that it was something that could transcend planes or dimensions, but apparently it can.
Fine. All right. She turns back and looks at the party. Apparently, my sister can cast a spell that lets her invade dreams.
Interesting. I don't know that much about magic, but that would be, I imagine, a very powerful spell.
Well, she is very powerful. She has survived in the abyss for 80 years.
Well, I suppose that would explain some things.
So is that going to happen often?
Rosalind gives a look that says, I would love to tell you no.
All right. Great. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. She does not like me. She never
Runhar
has.
stands up. Well, I can't say that I understand what's going on here, but I do think I know a way to solve the issue, at least temporarily. And he takes out his flask. Breakfast beer! And just starts drinking.
Breakfast beer?
Breakfast beer! And hands the flask over to you.
Rosalind looks like she wants to throw it, but then thinks, fuck it, and takes a drink from it.
All right.
I've heard of breakfast candy, but never breakfast beer. It's weird.
You've heard of breakfast candy too? I thought that was just my sister.
No,
My
me and
other
my
sister.
brother used to sneak sweets in the morning because, like, porridge was always, like, weird oatmeal, and who wants to eat that?
Fair. My sister Ari always tells me that candy is the best meal.
You're lucky to get within easy access.
The ale, by the way, is day-old warm piss at this point.
Ew.
Is it alcoholic?
It is alcoholic, though, yes.
Roz is good.
Gross.
But yeah, as the party is kind of getting up now for the morning, it does make Rosalind think for a moment, and she is gonna kind of motion her people over to kind of stand in a circle and talk for a moment.
What's up?
All right. This might not be necessary to say, but given that dream last night, I think actually I want to. I should have said it when we first set out, but there is a thing that all Fortuneers do when they complete their training and go out into the world. It's not anything big, but it is sort of a reaffirmation and understanding that when you go and you try to help people and you try to make the world a little bit better of a place, when you do that, you're putting your life on the line. You could die. And I think you all, given what we've seen so far, I think you all have a good sense of that at this point. But for my sanity, if for no one else's, I just need you all to know that I will do everything in my power to protect you. But if you're going to do this, you are putting your life in harm's way. If you can't stomach that, you should find something else to do.
That must have been some fucked up dream you had.
She looks at you and goes, "Yes."
Heavy stuff for first thing in the morning. You know, I haven't even had my coffee yet. Oh,
but it's
yeah.
no less important, coffee or otherwise.
Roz, I knew the moment I set out to do this that there was always a chance. And to kind of make that even clearer, I didn't realize until I met all of you that I had teammates.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be doing this by myself. But I'm not. We're all here. So to echo what you're saying, I want it to be very clear to you that this is not just you trying to protect us. Trust us. Let us help you too. Let us have your back. Don't think I haven't noticed, Roz. And she kind of tries to be gentle here. I know that whenever we have multiple enemies, you are the first to go on the one that everyone else is not focused on, to draw it away. I get that. That's your thing. But please, remember that you aren't, our babies. You aren't the person that needs to oversee all of us here. You're under our protection too.
And I'm 200 years old, so if I want to die, I choose when I want to die.
That's fair.
It's a win-win situation for me. Like, if I die, I don't have to go back home. If I live, I get to reunite with my brother eventually. So I'm good.
This one cannot die because this one is not living. So this one will be the first to become disassembled.
All right. Fair enough. Roz takes her sword out. Then, reaffirm it for me. My name is Rosalind Larest, and I'm a second chance.
Maybe we'll take, well, at first fumble whether she needs to put an arrow out, but she'll take her, moon sword and glows slightly and puts it out. I'm Mavra Ashfall. I am here for the calling of the Oracle. And I'm with you all for the second chances.
I don't know my line. What do I say?
Whatever you want to say.
Your name and why you're here.
I'm Hermia Astoria, and I'm looking for my brother.
Good enough.
Fair enough.
This one is Leaf, and this one will protect its family.
The last time I did this, there was a goat. I cut our wrists. This is kind of awkward. I just put my dagger out.
There was a goat?
Well, for the interest of cleanliness and time, we'll skip the goat this time around. Your words
Leaf
are
will turn into a goat.
Leaf, no!
No.
Leave, that's not what we mean for the family.
Matt.
Jesus.
Kieran looks kind of withdrawn from all of this. Whatever. After what you said, Roz, he seems to have probably taken a bit more to heart, and as realizes everyone's kind of looking at him, he's like, "Oh, right, yeah, nope. I'm Kieran, and here for adventure and stuff. Day's not getting any younger," and takes off back over towards everyone else.
He may need some time.
Yeah.
But
All
that's not just on you,
I know.
and not because of your sister.
Yeah. I'll figure her out somehow. I don't know yet.
Well, if she is involving more than just you, then it's for all of us to figure out.
Yeah. It's strange. She's never wanted anything to do with me.
Maybe
He
this is
seems
her way.
jealous to me.
Rosalind kind of gives you a nod. Yeah. You know, she, Light had never called me her sister before, recently. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Well, she hurts one of us, she hurts all of us. Not that we need to fight her. I know it's more complicated than that. I'm just saying that, you know, we're here for you too.
Thank you. All right. I'm sorry. I've delayed us enough this morning.
All right, so you head on back over to where the coin accord is. Kieran's there as well, and of course, Drow travel mate, we'll call him, Clazen. You all begin to set out towards the ruins of Shattengrod. By this point, you know, with the sun still sort of coming up, you have noticed, probably not the night before because it was dark, but you do notice now, off in the distance, you can start to see Mount Mentiri, which is a northern extension of the Sirios Mountains. Maybe you would be somewhat familiar with. The Pallid Grove is centered in the Sirios Mountains, although it's further, way further to the west. But nonetheless, most of what you've been seeing these past few days has just been plains, some rolling hills, maybe a bit of forest. But for the first time, I guess since... No, honestly, even going to Baisei Tile, being in the Pearlbow Wilderness, it would have been hard to see the Dunrock Mountains because of the canopy. So you see these large mountains reaching high up into the sky. Some of them dappled with, you know, covered peaks.
Are there any mountains near Vano?
The No is in the mountain.
In the mountains. Okay, so yeah.
So it might
Yeah,
not necessarily
looks like home.
be new to you, but yep. So it'll take you the majority of the day to travel to Shattengrod. Wanted to potentially catch up with anyone, chat with anyone. Yeah. If not, during this,
what?
during
if
this,
you wanted to talk to anybody.
yeah, did you want to like chat with
Oh.
anyone in the group, NPC or PC?
Uh,
I'd like to gather of how our walking mate is doing that is leading us to his brother.
Clay? Sure. He's not quite leading right now. Everyone's kind of, you know, you all know the general direction,
yeah.
and you know, you
Leading,
probably
quote,
have, I would say Leo and maybe Roz probably have a particular eye on him since he tried to leave once during the night.
Just kind of gathering his. I guess I can make it. Let me make an insight roll.
Go ahead, make an insight roll.
I'll just give this a chance. Chance. Wow. Never mind. I rolled a 9. Yikes.
He's hard to read, but I will say that with that, you've probably never met a drow before.
Yeah.
You know, maybe bits and pieces about recent, you know, history between the Empire and between the Dynasty. But he seems there's like a dignified sort of air to him. You know, technically you're chasing after his brother, who prior to this, you know, whatever your assumptions may have been, you know, at the very least you knew that he was a thief. So I guess it's up to you, you know, what that necessarily meant to you. But, you know, seeing him now, he definitely There's something about him that reminds you of Hermia. There's like a grace to the way that he carries himself. But he seems very composed otherwise, has been very quiet. So that's what you gather with the 9.
Hermia's gonna like come up behind Maeve and like in her ear, "Hey, what you doing?"
She'll kind of look back. Just walking around. Do you say that out loud or in my head?
Out loud.
Oh, okay. I just kind of jump and look at you quizzically.
Luster jumps too and goes, "Me."
Hey, buddy.
She just seemed really focused there. So, I don't know.
Yeah, just, I guess, checking out everybody's doing. She'll just kind of think in her head, something wrong?
Gonna sound like weird and probably inappropriate.
Is this okay?
Yeah, that's to you. She responds to
Okay.
you in her head.
Okay. What's inappropriate? It's okay.
I've never seen a drow before.
Oh, well, that makes 2 of us.
So I don't know. I'm kind of curious.
Well, do you want to talk to him?
I don't know.
She will say-
I hear my parents in my head like just telling me no, bad, and it makes me want to do it more, but also it's really freaking me out.
She looks at him a second and looks at the guy and thinks in her head, is this because of the guy or because he's a drow?
Both.
I see. She just kind of smiles a little conspiratorially and looks to the man.
And as you look over, you can see that he's looking at both of you kind of inquisitively. Was there something I could help the 2 of you with?
Hermia's gonna be like, "Up!" and then like just run away.
Maeve will try to pull on her arm. We were just talking last night. We come from faraway places that are rather exclusive. So we actually haven't had a chance to talk to our cousin the drow before. Which I know sounds very strange, but I don't know, I was just hoping was wondering where do you come from? I know where we found you, but is that your home?
Rexentrum? No. I'm from Jorhas, part of the Kryn dynasty. Rosanna. It's quite a ways away. Doubt either of you have been east of the Ashkeeper Peaks.
I have not, right? Sorry, I'm just
You
trying to
have
find
not
on a
yet.
map. Okay. She shakes her head. I'm afraid not. This is, I'm from the Pallid Grove, and this is the first time I've really been outside of it.
Ah, yes, the Pallid Elves. It's been some time. I've never met one of your kind myself, but heard stories prior to the calamity. And your friend is Ladrin, Feyborn, or here on Exandria?
She looks to Hermia, motioning
Hermia
her
like has her hood pulled over her face.
She is quite shy. Hermia, where is it again that you hail from?
Xanthia, and I'm technically not supposed to be here at all.
Well, we're
that
all
makes
both
2
a couple
us.
of runaways.
3 of us, then. I'm not familiar with Xanthia. That's in the Bay. One of the areas that escapes my ex.
Yeah, they're kind of stuck up.
But so you are highborn then?
I guess. Like, what does that mean? Out
Well,
of character.
Nobility?
Nobility.
Oh, yeah. A minor house, but yeah, technically.
Well, minor houses in time with the right political gainings and moves can become major players as well. I thought that I recognized a bit of that air about you.
Oh, great. I'm becoming like my parents. And she pulls her hood over her head more.
Sorry, and it's
Mia.
Maeve and Hermes, is that right?
She'll look at
Yep,
Hermia.
that's my name, Hermes.
Her name is Hermia.
Hermia, my apologies. Trying to pick up what I could since no one thought to introduce all of you.
I apologize for that. how about we help out with that? As you eloquently pointed out, I am Maeve. This is Hermia. The tall one, the silver hair, is Rosalind.
Yes, I've been acquainted with her.
Right. Then I think you also know Leo next to her. And, well, behind us we have Leaf, who's our, what have we been calling him? Not an automaton. Is it Warforged? Warforged, and who's accompanying us, and Kieran.
And the others in your care here, not normal members of the group?
Very astute of you. Yes. They are actually, old friends of Leaf. They are new to us, and apparently we're all going in the same direction. Hermia, do you remember their names?
So,
She just looks at you.
Hermia's brain has ceased to work. And just like, no, and then tries to like back away.
We all, she'll just kind of look at the gentleman. We all have our strengths, I suppose.
I didn't mean to eavesdrop earlier, but did I hear that you're looking for a sibling of your own, Hermia?
Yeah. I don't suppose you've seen another Eladrin recently.
No, I have not, but, just curious, I suppose, that we're both on hunts for a sibling of.
Yes, that is something the two of you have in common. She thinks to Hermia, tell him about your brother.
Hermia just whimpers.
She also, Maeve is also thinking in her own mind, Moonweaver, help me. How do I play matchmaker? I'm not good at this.
So you all continue on throughout the day, making small talk where you can.
Where we can.
Mhm.
Mostly Maeve leading small talk and trying to play wingman to an unwilling participant.
Eventually, as the sun is starting to crest over the mountains to the west, the frigid depths, you do start to see remnants sort of off into the distance here. What seems to be a small gathering of some sort. It looks like maybe a small tent city, some shacks and stuff like that, set up far ahead of you, in between the start of the Sirios Mountains and a large forest off to west of the Shattengrod. And as you begin to get closer and it starts to pop up, it is indeed seems to be some sort of temporary settlement, but at this point it is pretty void of any people, since, as you know, most of the workers have been back in Eurosa for the past few days at least, and you got a good head start heading out here. You do notice, however, I'll say, Leaf, you do it naturally because of how high your perception is, and anyone else who wants to give me a perception check can go ahead and roll that.
Is my, what is my perception? Because I have a high perception too. It's my 19, passive perception not enough?
Yeah, all right, so we'll say, for the sake of it.
Wait, I want to make a check.
Go ahead.
I rolled a 1 + 0 for 1.
Oh gosh, honey.
Okay.
This rock looks awesome.
I don't know what.
Why is it falling towards my head?
That rock looks a lot like Shadow. Weird.
Yep. Not sure what Roz is doing, but she doesn't see
I
shit.
got in 18.
Okay.
22.
Wow, you just have to be higher than me, don't you?
Leaf,
He does get
Maeve,
plus 10.
It's not
and
hard.
Hermia.
Mhm.
You all do notice that there does seem to be a set of guards for a moment, sort of on the horizon near some of the tents that are there for a moment, vanish further into the.
What time is it, roughly?
It's nearly sundown. You can still just see the tip of the sun kind of shining over the mountains to the west, so there is still a little bit of light, but it's beginning to be dusk.
Okay.
Just a tip.
Just the tip.
Seeing the tent city, Rosalind's like, well, maybe we could at least have a tent above our heads while we rest tonight and then go in the morning. Unless you want to venture in the evening.
Suppose if they will be, all right with us.
Is anyone here? We kind of beat everyone. Wasn't that the idea of leaving early?
That's fair. I more meant the guards.
There's guards?
Oh, I thought that's okay. Never mind. Nope, don't talk to me.
Well, no, Roz just didn't see him. I rolled a 1.
Oh!
Yeah, only you 3 saw them, so if you didn't say
Sorry,
anything.
my brain. Yeah, I will just kind of whisper to Roz. There were guards going there.
Oh.
Did the guards see us?
You're not sure.
We're not sure. We weren't exactly hiding.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are
that's true.
basically walking out in, like, some plains and some flatlands,
Yeah.
so possible.
So
All right. Well, let's approach the tent city then without our weapons out, and hopefully everyone will be friendly.
indeed.
So you do so, and as you get there, again, the tent city is basically like a ghost town. It looks just like in period pieces when like you have 2 sort of like camps of armies set up. It's just tents as far as the eye can see. Some of them are sort of rolled up and tied down and stuff like that, so that they didn't necessarily blow away. Some taken down completely. But you begin to sort of walk through and don't really see anyone. No one seems to pay you any mind. In about 5 minutes.
This is creepy.
It's very creepy, actually.
Ugh.
And about 5 minutes through, there is a couple of guards that kind of notice you. They are Crown's guard, typically. Notice you, and one of them goes, "Oi! Don't recognize any of you. You kind of, equipped a bit more heavily than most that come here looking for work.
Roads are dangerous.
Are you looking for work?
Where is everybody else?
Everyone was back in Eurosa on account to the storms. They should be through here probably in the morning now. Thought we saw you off there a ways and thought you were the first of them, but most people don't come armed so heavily." And Runar's like, "Oh, well, we hired this bunch of mercenaries, as she says. The road is dangerous to get us here, but me and my family here looking to get some work done, help mine out those ruins." Right.
Well, as long as he can make the persuasion deception roll.
Is there work available right now?
This guy looks very, very we're not nervous, unconvinced. Runar rolled a 1.
Oh,
Well, as I said, most of the workers who are normally here should be here in the morning, but even in place of a halt of the dig team, there's still a battalion of Righteous Brand stationed here, watching over the ruins, just in case anyone gets any bright ideas and thinks that they might want to go delving for some artifacts to sell of their own accord.
Sir, I understand that. We were bought by these guys to expedite our mission, which is to talk to you and your superiors about a certain subject that is probably above your head.
oh.
So if we could talk to
Crosses his arms a bit taken aback.
your captain,
Wow.
that'd be appreciated.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Hermia's gonna whisper to Leaf. Leaf, when did we elect Leo as our spokesperson?
I'm going to use an inspiration.
Okay, straight roll then.
We have never looked at anyone for
16
spokesman.
plus 2.
All right, he kind of stares you down for a moment, then looks over the rest of you and kind of looks around and realizes there's not really reinforcements near here. He's like,
We can wait.
No. We'll take you to Dr. Durin-Ritzel. Follow me then.
Dr.
Thank you.
Durin?
Durin Ritzel.
That's what you heard. Yep. And begins to walk you further into the camp. And as you get a little bit closer in through the tents, a few more permanent-ish structures begin to pop up. Nothing, as grand as what you've seen in any of the cities, even in Eurosa, but more like a sort of temporary outpost, if you will. These are a bit more spread out as well, and you now, for the first time, get your first glimpse of the ruins of Shattengrod, and probably not exactly what you were expecting, as you see basically this wide, massive chasm that opens up before you. This thing is probably like Grand Canyon sized, like wide and long, and you probably can't see anything down within it just yet because of where the sun is coming down. It's casting a shadow over the hole itself, so you basically just see this wide open, thousands, like say probably half-mile wide void in the ground opened up before you. But they take you up to one of the sort of structures, and now that you're here as well, you notice there's a lot more guards out here. You see quite a few Crown's Guard, you see quite a few more Righteous Brand. Some of them are in makeshift towers that are set up at regular intervals around the opening of this massive chasm. Others are sitting around campfires, whether they're on break or, their shifts are over. A few of them are patrolling around as well. 2 Righteous Brand stationed on either side of the door here, and the guy's like, all right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Heads inside.
I look over at Leo, like, I guess it never really occurred to me they're probably not likely to just let us go looking for this guy. Although if we say we're working for the Cerberus Assembly, they probably would, right?
Is this in my head or?
Yeah.
Okay. I respond with, that's exactly my plan. But we got to get rid of these thieving idiots before we can actually strike that plan. So hopefully
thumbs up.
Rude.
I'm like, hopefully I can be the spokesperson, but be ready to disenfranchise those people as soon as they start outing themselves.
Got it.
About 5 minutes pass and the door opens back up, and as the guy comes back out, he is accompanied by a gnome. She comes out it's about sort of 2, maybe 2.5 feet. She has long white hair that's, kind of pulled up into 2 buns behind her head. Bright green eyes, even in the dim light out here. And she kind of has like this red robe on that has some blue trim down the sides. It's Maeve, to you, I would say it's reminiscent of some of the robes that you have seen higher ranking archivists in Port Damali wearing.
Got it.
And she comes out and she goes, hello, can I help you? The guardsman said that you were here on some sort of business. I assume not here to work.
Yes, ma'am, can we speak in private? You can have as many guards guard my people as much as possible, but can we have some one-on-one time? We can also have guards guarding us too. I just want our conversations separate from a certain few in our group.
Rosalind glances over and is like, subtle.
It's just like, I don't know how to talk to people.
Okay. Join me inside, then.
Sorry, I prefer a direct
Uh-huh.
approach in certain circumstances.
Sure. And she steps back inside, and you follow her in. And once inside, you see sitting in here, there's books everywhere, like shelves, all sorts of like journals. A lot of them look not so much like books that you might find in in a store or in the archives themselves. These definitely look like they're journals, like things that are constantly being referenced, perhaps even written and created here themselves. You see all sorts of artifacts in here. Some of them look like they might just be the normal sort of stuff you might find in an archaeological dig. There's pots, there's tools of some kind. There are a few cubes that seem to have slightly glowing and pulsating root on them as well. 2 desks in here, one of them short for a gnome, the other one human size, and behind that you see another woman as well. She has short brown hair, sort of like just down past her ears. She's wearing a set of glasses, very well put together. And as soon as you come in, she sits down her quill and looks up and goes, "So this wasn't something that you could handle on your own." And the gnome goes, I'm sorry, Miss Despero. Apologies. He's the leader of the group. He wanted to talk in private away from the others. He doesn't seem to trust some of them so much. If my
yes.
so this is the head archaeologist of antiquities, Dr. Sarah Despero. She's in charge of the Shattengrod dig site.
Does this person look familiar to me?
I don't think we're there.
Did you go in as well? I thought Leo went in.
Oh
by
no,
himself.
I'm still outside.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'm still outside.
Very well, Whitney. That will be it. I don't think I need your help anymore for the night. And what's your passive insight, Leo?
Passive insight. That would be 15.
Okay, you can tell from that little bit that this lady doesn't seem to be too with the gnome, and you watch she kind of like hangs her head a little bit. But it's like, okay, sure, I was nearly done for the night.
Ma'am,
anyway,
it wasn't her fault. This is an extenuating circumstance that needs to go all the way to the top.
And I am the top, therefore she will not be needed. You may leave, Dr. Duran Ritzel. And you watch she kind of grabs her coat and walks out, shuts it behind her. If you're looking to gain access to the ruins, then I would suggest not questioning my authority within the first 30 seconds of being within my presence. What do you want?
Well, first off, my group's here looking for an artifact that was stolen from the Cerberus assembly. And the person who directly sent us here is Professor Elena Burnright.
She seems unfazed. And I assume that you have some sort of documentation or proof.
We have that paper, don't we? Out of character.
Yeah, we should have some paper, I think.
We have the magic item she gave us to contact.
Yeah,
No,
we have
she
the
didn't
sending
give us
stone.
any paper.
Oh, I thought she did. I guess she
Nope.
didn't want to write this down.
But
We
she
have a
gave us
sending stone.
Yeah, she gave us a sending stone to contact her if we needed to.
You have to realize that the artifacts, the knowledge, and the treasures hidden within one of the settlements from prior to the calamity are very important. A lot of folks, and so you wouldn't be the first person coming in here, true or not, claiming to have been sent under direction of Archmage of N. So please, have some sort of proof.
Well, we have his brother who knows of the drow that stole
Wait,
the artifact and made his way here.
But nothing from Archmage herself.
If you give me a second, get the sending stone, I'll give it to you to contact her yourself. How does that sound?
Pleased.
And I hurry out the room and go ask for the sending stone.
I give it to you. Everything okay?
Everything's fine.
Okay.
And I walk back into the room and it's like, here you go, contact her.
Oh God.
I don't know if I believed that it is fine.
Rosalind glanced over. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, it seemed almost.
Didn't seem fine.
No,
I've seen Leo when things are
this
fine.
isn't going well.
All right.
He picks up the stone, and you watch as it glows within her hand for a moment. Archmage Burnwhite, this is head archaeologist of antiquities,
God.
Dr. Despero, at the Shattengrod dig site. And I have some people here claiming that they were sent on your behalf.
Oh God, she's not gonna answer, is she?
A few moments pass. She hands it back to you. Well, that did sound a lot like her, but she also claimed that upon hiring you, she figured that you would have the know-how and the abilities to find your way into a dig site without her helping you.
That
Wow.
sounds like her.
That sounds a lot like
That
her.
sounds-
Yep,
yeah,
that's
all
her.
right.
That's
Yeah.
her, all right. We're not there, but that's her, all right. We just.
But
joke.
in my profession, working with the topmost people makes the job a lot easier. So to be upfront, that's kind of how we work.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage for.
Can I ask something to the group while Leo's in there?
Of course.
I'm gonna use advantage, by the way.
So what are we gonna do if like Leo can't get us in and we have to find our own way in? Like, how are we gonna do that?
All right.
Uh,
We'll figure that
Here's
out
the
later.
plan, right? Because me and the old coin accord here, breaking into places is what we do. So if it comes to it, we've got your back. We came here to work, but we have to take one for the team, so to speak. Get Leaf and his friends down in there for whatever it is you need to do. Got your back.
Wow, you guys are so cool.
All right, but
Most
if you can get in
appreciated.
there on your own, by the way, I feel like Leo was going in there not with our best interests at heart. So if anybody asks,
Yeah.
we're just looking to get some work here, doing some digging.
Yeah, don't worry. We got you covered.
Right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what my Aunt Des would say right now. She would say the best plan is to have no plan at all.
Maeve's gonna look at Roz.
That actually
That's
sounds like the opposite
terrible.
of a good plan. I'm
was gonna say
I'm
that-
with Maeve on this one. Yes.
That
opposite.
sounds
Yeah,
like
but
a
it always,
terrible
it always
Yeah.
worked for her,
Your
though.
plan can't just be to not have a plan.
Well,
Maeve,
that's what I said.
well,
That was Leo's plan.
Well, all right. So with a 21, kind of looks you over. All right. Here's the deal. I'm going to grant you and your group access to the ruins, but you're going to choose some of them to stay here under the care of the Righteous Brand. That way, if you don't return, and we'll give it a few days for your bodies to turn up, just in case it's one of two ways, then they get to go free. But don't return, or if we find out that you have made off with some artifacts of the ruins or your own, well, we have someone to suffer the consequence. How does that sound?
Sounds agreeable.
So, what exactly is it you're here for, then? Said you're here chasing some thief. Assure you that they would not have gotten into the ruins on my watch.
So it's a young drow who believes the eye. What's the name of that artifact?
he believes to get the Icarus, something Icarus.
Eyes. Are you for the resting place of the Plague of Eyes?
That's
Yes.
correct. That's correct.
Well, I suppose you are searching at your own folly. It has never been confirmed to be here in the ruins of Shattengrod, though there are miles upon miles of ruins that have yet to be properly excavated or explored. You may actually want to go and speak with Whitney. She's a bit expert on fairy tale.
Now, is there anything else in return that you want? Is there any monsters down there that we need to worry about?
Oh, there are tons of monsters. Realize that back, pre-calamity, or because of the calamity, there were demons and fiends that still inhabit the ruins. On top of that, it's sunken so far down into the crust of Exandria that there are parts of the Underdark that reach up into the ruins as well. So, yes, most things down there can and will try to kill you. So kill anything you see would be a favor to me, and anything you see that might be important or magical, bring it back and perhaps we'll give you a finder's fee.
Sounds good. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And I hold out my hand to kind of conceal the deal.
And she raises her hand and just kind of like beckons you towards the door and picks her quill back up and goes back to writing.
Oh, it's not an official deal.
I leave and just come out kind of smiling and nodding. We're good.
Oh,
Yeah?
Yeah?
We're good.
I don't
take-
know if
Okay.
I feel reassured.
I take the sending
So we
stick
can
from
we can
him.
all just head down then?
We need to talk to Whitney before we go down.
So
That'd
as-
probably be
And as
for the
you
best bet.
as you came out, one of the guards went back in.
Oh,
And then I don't know how many she wants to stay here while we do our investigation inside the ruins. So we'll find that out once that guard comes.
oh wait,
back
we
out.
have some of us have to stay here.
Yeah, as like an insurance policy.
Oh, well, that's no problem. We can do that. We weren't planning on going down with you anyway. It sounds like you're getting into some dangerous stuff.
That's true.
Going to
We
court aren't
are,
looking to risk their
probably.
lives for anything. But if you do maybe find a little something down there for us and you wouldn't mind bringing it back.
We should definitely bring you something back.
Atta leaf boy, atta boy.
That for Leaf's responsibility.
And a few moments later, sure enough, the guard comes back out and goes, So, which of your group are you keeping here under our watch?
How many do we have to leave?
Pose as many as you're willing. And Runar, Neose, Jekyll, and Olan all raise their hands simultaneously.
Oh my god.
Those guys are staying.
All right,
staying
then. You four go ahead and follow me. Takes them off, and Runar looks back and goes, Do us proud, Leaf!
This one is doing proud.
You
Ro-
always do us proud.
Rosalind looks towards Leo and Maeve and is like, I feel like I might still be having the nightmare. Maybe I never woke up.
She rubs her back. I mean, maybe your sister would make this better.
She seems
Ow.
to think about that for a long moment before going, I doubt that very much.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh,
is
yeah,
she
there's-
cute?
Are you asking me if Shadow is cute?
Kieran,
That's like
Yes.
over.
Kieran
That's
kind of
over the
shrugs
line.
and goes, In a terrifying kind of way, yeah.
I
That's
mean,
my
you're
kind
into
of
it,
girl.
I mean,
I-
she's, she's very pretty.
I mean, light could also make this maybe better.
Light?
Mhm.
Oh, well, we'll see. Yeah.
So are they twins? And your
I'm
parents
gonna-
are just
I'm gonna-
identical?
I'm gonna go.
No,
Go talk to Whitney. You said we need to talk to her because this is just.
Yeah.
This is weird. I don't know how I feel about this conversation.
go ahead, Herman.
Make a perception check to see if you were paying attention when she walked off.
Okay, well.
But no, my sisters were not twins. They were born 4 years apart, I believe. When
That's
they,
good. That'd be a painful way birth, if so.
well, when they were Eladrin when they got taken to the Abyss, but they got changed when they were there.
I got a 17 plus 6.
Okay, yes, you did see where the gnome had ran off to, back towards the tents. Did anyone else want to go with Hermia?
I can go if she wants. Is she asking someone to go with her?
I didn't ask because Hermia's awkward.
Yeah, Hermia just walked off, so it's just up to anybody else if you want to go with her or not.
I will follow Hermia.
Roz will wait here.
Make sure she
So
doesn't
you head back into the tents, and it's very easy to find her because, again, most of the tents are empty, and so you do see one that seems to be aglow with candlelight. So you approach it.
Excuse me, Miss Whitney, are you, in there?
Yes?
I was wondering if, I could, pick your brain on the, story behind the Plague of Eyes?
And you watch as the tent door kind of like pulls open, and she looks up at you. You hear about the Plague of Eyes?
I mean, not directly, but it's, like, involved in what we're investigating.
No, yes, please, come in. It's
okay.
You can just call me Whitney or Dr. Duran Ritzel. Dr. Whitney sounds weirdly formally and informal, but please, both of you come in. And I don't think I got either of your names.
I'm Hermia.
I'm Maeve.
Oh, and
Pleasure
who's
to
your
meet
cute
you.
little friend you have here?
Oh, this is Lester. He's quite friendly.
Yeah, hops down and kind of like does the little cat thing around her, like up against her. Oh, well, he's a friendly little one. I don't think that I've ever seen a drake this size before, and what odd coloration as well. Sorry, yes. You're about the Plague of Eyes. It's never been confirmed that Shattengrod was his final resting place. It honestly, it could be a number of the floating cities from the Calamity. Aor, which isn't even a fraction of being explored as what Shattengrod is. Avalier, there's tons of them. What exactly are you looking into it for? We don't normally get scholars looking for things of that sort here. And she gave you a really odd look when she used the word scholars.
I don't think I'm qualified as a scholar. I mean,
well, we're all very curious people, adventurers. Yes. She kind of looks to her and like, don't say that we're not scholars.
I mean, it's been some time since I've been at the academy. Serenosis Academy. You probably haven't heard of it. It's in the Feywild.
No, I can't say that I do. I've been through the Rexentrum archives and actually grew up in Port Damali and started there. Not officially a part of the Cobalt Soul myself, but been taught by quite a few other archivists. But no, never been to the Feywild.
That's wonderful. I have a friend in the Port Damali Cobalt Soul Library, actually.
Oh, what's their name?
Miles. Sarah forgot their last name. Hold on.
Miles. Like that's familiar. I haven't been back.
Niles Ostrin. It was an N. Not
Niles. Yes. No. I do remember young Niles. I believe he had just started there a few months before I left the Menagerie Coast. Actually, I've been living in the Empire here now for a few years. But anyway, sorry. The Plague of Eyes. What can I help you with in regards?
Well, someone's trying to find its resting place.
Why would they do that?
Maeve. I can't remember.
Oh. Well. Got it. They believe that it could be, I think, helpful to them. They don't exactly have the same sort of fear with it.
Okay.
Let me get a better description. Sorry.
I'm not really sure why anyone would think that it would be helpful. I mean, the tale, which obviously we don't really have anything. It's still very much considered by some to be a fairy tale, if you will. Obviously, the Age of Calamity is filled with and rife with people of all creeds and all types making deals with fiends and devils and celestials and becoming champions of gods and prime deities and the betrayer gods. And the Plague of Ice is just one such example. But while his intentions may have been pure, like anyone making a deal with fiend or a devil, it did not go his way. And he wrought nothing but destruction upon the world in his city. So I couldn't imagine why anyone would willingly seek him out.
Even if maybe the story they were told of it being the boon of seeing.
Oh, is it someone from Xhorhas that's after him?
To be honest, we only were given scant details.
Well, I'm not fluent myself, but obviously being a scholar in this sort of likes, I've come to learn a bit more over these past few years with you from the Kryn dynasty that have passed through and that I've had a chance to talk to. But yes, I believe that one of their sort of old wives' tales, fairy tales, I suppose, if you would, talk about it being a beneficial spirit, but I think that that's just one of those things where, you know, they were enemies of the Empire for so long, so of course our, you know, what we think of as nightmares, you know, they would probably think of as being heroes, sense. So someone from the Jorhassian Empire is here looking for the resting place. Exciting, odd, and also terrifying. All right, well, let's just assume, let's pretend for a second that it is here, and they were able to find it, or you were able to survive the nightmares that are down there. The first thing that I would recommend is do not go in tonight. Please wait until the morning before you head down into the ruins.
What nightmares are in there?
There are devils, fiends, creatures from the Underdark have been known to roam up into it as well. I can tell you this right now, any of the areas that you would need to go are not going to be the safe areas or areas that are patrolled by the Righteous Brand or the Crown's Guard. You're going to need to go quite a bit deeper. And, well, Head Archivist Despero doesn't believe in things like this, or it doesn't even down here or exists. I think that I can give you a direction to look in, and while I don't know that it will necessarily lead specifically to what you are looking for, there is an area in the southern reaches near dig site A7 that it was opened up a few years ago, but exploration into that particular dig site has been halted now for several years because anyone who gets near that area of the site is overcome with an unnatural sense of paranoia, terror. Even mercenaries or some of the Righteous Brand that we've tried to send further in, even protected by magical means, either come back changed, terrified. That's if they come back.
I see.
Not guaranteeing that that's where you're going to find what it is you're looking for, but if anything that would, let's say, stand up to the reputation of something like the Plague of Eyes, that would be where I would look.
How, in your prediction, how would we know when we had found it? I mean, is this going to be in some advertised throne area that's lifting up the item, or do you think it'll be hidden or even the ground?
The tales say that the Plague of Eyes was immortal. He could not be killed. He could be defeated, but then would rise up again sometime later after the fact. Granted everlasting life from the patron after his patron was slain by the heroes of the time. So instead, he was lured to a tomb and sealed within it. I would assume that you wouldn't want to advertise that sort of thing per se. However, you would also want to warn those who would attempt to actually unseal. I feel like if you find it, you're going to know, but I'm not really sure what would be looking for. Well, probably old Zemnian at the very least. Is there anyone within your group that knows Zemnian?
Oh, me! I do!
Perfect. Well then, while the dialect may be different, it should still... In fact, hold on. Give me a moment here. And she goes and starts to, like, rummage through some of her books and pulls out an old dusty tome. And here, this is I'm not sure how it'll necessarily be of help to you, but it is a older tome on some of the earlier Zemnian languages. It's obviously changed quite a bit since the pre-Calamity times, but you should be able to recognize it if you know Zemnian, and if you have trouble translating exactly what any of it says, this should help you.
Oh, thanks. Hermia will take it.
I'm not really sure if there's anything else that I could tell you or anything that I could warn. Just be careful.
This is kind of exciting.
Why you say that now?
Well,
Oh, I mean, it just the fact that, like, you know, like stories and fairy tales, like, you know, there's like truth behind them.
Yeah. Also nightmares. Some
Like-
of the depictions of the Plague of Eyes describe him as having his eyes taken out by his patron. And then when his
Oh.
patron was defeated and his Eye of All Seeing was bestowed upon him, that it resides within him. And in order to use it, he regurgitates it up. Which, you know, isn't
Interesting.
necessarily like any fairy tale I've ever heard before, but I'm not from the Feywild, so maybe you do
I
differently there.
mean, there are some pretty weird stories like that. I
Oh,
mean,
great.
people look at Chad and thinks he's scary, but he's actually pretty cool.
Sorry, who?
Oh, he's my sword.
Okay.
It
Sword is-
talks.
You have a talking sword named Chad?
Isn't actually Chad.
His
it's
name
just-
isn't actually Chad. Like, that's just what we called him.
Oh,
Yeah, he's called True Fate in Elvish, of course, from the
As-
Feywild.
sorry, as in the divine prophecy, the vestige of divergence?
Correct.
Is that right? Yeah.
Correct.
You want to see?
Yes.
Hermio takes
than
out
anything.
Chad.
Oh, that's not quite how
He's
majority of the
apparently corrupted
texts
and needs to
describe-
be cleansed in some ritual, but like
Oh,
we're researching it. I'm not really sure how to do that.
well, first of all, I believe that you are the first to ever go into the ruins with a vestige of divergence, so I feel like that gives you a leg up over anyone previous.
That's good to know.
Good job.
Way to go, Chad.
I mean, I don't know much, you know, about the Raven Queen or the Dawn Father or this in particular. But you know, by the time you come back, I could maybe I know a few people. I could go through some of my contacts, see if I know anyone who you could maybe talk to about finding ways to cleanse him.
That would be really helpful. The last person who said they'd look into it was kind of mean, so. And you seemed nice.
You know, unfortunately, when it comes to these Cerberus assembly types, especially those under the Archmage Witty, and she kind of goes down to a low whisper. Some of them are a bit scary. I definitely miss studying and working within the archives in the Cobalt Soul.
Hmm.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for your time. I suppose you can't give any other predictions of what might help protect us from such a legendary artifact.
No, I'm afraid not, and hopefully all you find, if you find it, is an artifact. If the legends or the tales are to be believed, Plague of Ice is down there, still alive in grave, I suppose, in tomb, case down there for the last 500 some odd years.
Well, hopefully we can.
So you
Figure out a
find what you're
settlement.
looking for before
They
he
do.
opens it.
Agreed. Well, Hermia, did you have any other questions?
Nope. No.
Well.
You should be able to take any of these tents. Again, I would wait until the morning to descend. But obviously, any of these tents are free, so you and your companions are free to, use whatever you need.
Thank you. That is most kind. We'll talk to our group.
All right.
Hey, Whitney.
Yep. Good luck.
It's good to meet you. And we'll walk back. Question mark?
Yep. Oh, I took Zemnian as like a blow-off class. You knew it would become useful.
Well, there's actually something that might be worth looking into. There was something that Zana had found that none of us could translate. But, maybe that's what it was if it was connected.
I could take a look.
I don't know if she kept it on her person or if Leo has it, but,
No.
yeah,
Well,
we'll see.
I can't remember either, so I'm gonna assume she still has it.
Yeah, I think she does.
Yeah. Zana has it, so.
Oh.
Alright, well, welcome back to the group.
Oh, welcome back.
Well, we did find out some things.
Okay.
We have a direction, a possible direction. Obviously, no one really believes this thing exists.
Right.
The other thing that was suggested to us is we should go in the morning because it is scary at night.
I mean,
Yeah, it sounds like the Abyss. The Abyss.
Rosalind kind of stiffens a little bit at that.
They say demons.
Really?
Well, they say demons.
Demons and
fiends.
devils and fiends.
Well,
What,
clear.
wait, like walking around demons? Finally?
Yeah,
Apparently.
they're down there. Apparently.
Oh. Okay.
That's kind of exciting, right?
Yeah, it feels like
Maybe
home.
I'll meet this Levix dude that taught you how to swing a sword, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Possibly. I don't think my uncle will be here. That would be kind of weird.
Be helpful, I suppose. But the other thing is the direction we were told to maybe start is based on the assumption that excavators who have been in the area, some don't come back and others are plagued with this sort of paranoia, I believe is...
Well, that sounds like demons, all right. Yeah.
Yes. So that's the only concern. But yes, she suggested we wait till the morning. I was going to discuss it with all of you if you feel that we have that time. One thing I am wondering about is where Zana is.
Oh. Well, I mean, she always... If prior circumstances are to be believed, she's probably here with us now. Or close by.
Well,
I mean, you can all sense. You have that ability too.
Oh, that's true. We'll do that as soon as some higher power returns.
to help us out.
Jesus, help us!
I could ask Light too about some tips for fighting demons. They fight demons a lot,
Well, that would
like
be good.
almost exclusively. That's what they do.
Whitney didn't really have any suggestions for us, so if your sister is willing to impart some knowledge, I simply will not turn away from it. I won't turn away from it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll ask her. You guys want to sense for Zana while I go try and talk to her?
Yes, I will
sure.
try. Oh, who wants to try?
Oh, Sarah, you tell her that I can read a thing that she has, possibly.
Yes.
Maybe
yes.
that would entice her.
That's true. That is true. Well, I'm gonna try to see if I can sense her first. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can sense if Zana's near us.
Yep. And as you do get a ping about 30 feet away, and then immediately in your head. You have also just asked me if I was near, following you since you got in.
She just thinks back. I wasn't sure how close you'd be.
Yep. And you see from about 20 feet away as Zana steps out from behind some of the tents, and as she starts to walk towards you, one of the guards goes, "Hey, who are you?"
Oh, she's with us. I apologize. She has some business to take care of.
She looks at him. "I've been here for the past 24 hours.
She just kind of looks at Zana and just thinks her head, maybe don't lead with that.
She's like Owl Bear Man.
Zana gives you this look and goes,
She's like,
"Owl Bear
what?
Man isn't real."
I've seen him!
Yes,
We all
sure.
saw.
You
Yeah.
and every drunk that's come into a tavern in Exandria.
Do I look like a common drunk to you?
No, but you do look like you like to make up
no,
stories.
You saw him.
Oh, okay.
Wait, who saw him? You didn't see him?
No, because Rosalind and Kieran were unconscious.
Oh yeah, we saw him though.
I was just trying
And
to
we
give
didn't
you a
believe you.
compliment.
Zana, do you still have that paper? I think we may have a lead on what that language is, and a translator.
Sure. She takes it out. Who?
Hermia? Does this look like Zemnian?
Does it?
It does not. Clay kind of leans over and goes, found that in my room, I suppose.
Think about that, sorry.
Oh. What language is this?
It is Undercommon.
Oh. That was the other option for, like, you know, the extra, like, foreign language credit, but I don't know, Zemnian sounded cooler.
And Zana kind of looks at him like, you care to tell us what it says? Not that it's any of your business, but I was planning on writing a letter back home that I couldn't find my brother. And I decided, better of it, that was perhaps the right case, as now I have reinforcements.
It's true.
Zana kind of shrugs and just crumples the paper up and throws it down.
Okay, Hermia picks it up.
We're leaving in the morning then?
Well,
Yeah.
that was the suggestion.
Apparently there's nightmares down there.
She walks off and finds a tent for herself.
Okay.
Alright.
Here's your letter. Sorry, that was kind of rude of her to just
No, it's
crumple it up like that.
was just the beginning of one. I did not get very far, and as I said, I didn't plan on sending it, so Rash takes it and tosses it into a nearby fire that took some.
Well,
guards-
yeah,
some
I
guards
assume
are
he didn't
around.
want someone to pick it up and, like, read it.
Everyone
Okay.
step away from Hermia. Let her have a moment.
Hermia freezes up and just
I
slowly inches away.
Well. That
So,
didn't work.
Leo, Roz, would you like to potentially chain me up to something so that I don't leave during the night?
I mean, you're
don't-
not going to pull it again, are you?
At this point, now that we're here, and if we believe that my brother is down there somewhere, probably stand a much better chance traveling with all of you.
It would be rather
um,
dangerous for you to run now,
Sensible.
admittedly.
No, I think you can handle yourself for the evening.
And I
Okay,
trusted you enough not to be our collateral. So,
And I will go and find myself a place to rest for.
Of course. Have a good night.
Walks off.
Roz will go sit by one of the campfires and just kind of like think in her mind. Any tips or tricks for fighting demons? I think we're going to go up against some soon.
Yeah, don't go down there. And you look up and there's a few guards near the campfire that you sat down with.
He said in her head. How are they reading
Oh, sorry,
her
was that in
mind?
your, was that in your
Yeah,
head?
yeah.
Oh, my bad.
loud.
Yeah, sometimes you let
Yeah.
me know, sometimes you don't. I wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention. So my apologies.
No worries. Yeah, don't.
fucking psycho mind reading cards.
The guards said that
They're all
back
Kalishtar.
in your mind.
Yeah, they're all Kalishtar.
Yep.
It's weird. We found all the other Kalishtar on the continent.
You're back? Sorry, devils or fiends?
We were told demons and fiends.
Well, devils too, actually.
Demons, devils, and fiends. Sorry, we've been told it's a
The whole
hodgepodge.
trifecta.
So I assume you don't know specifically, because dealing with a shadow demon, or a Mezzaloth, Nightcloth, a Bargura, Casmia Nakaloth, a spined devil, Amorites, barbed devils, Barguests.
Hermia
they
would have
all
mentioned that it was like Underdark stuff crawling up.
Fair
Yeah, well,
enough.
they did say basically Underdark demons and devils, but she basically lists off a bunch of different stuff and is like, all of these have varying weaknesses. So if you're looking for a general sort of take on it, stick them with the pointy end.
So they bleed like anything else, is what you're saying.
Everything does.
That's good to know, actually. All right, very well. I guess if I happen to recognize one by name, I'll let you know. I think I remember some of the lessons Mom taught me. Maybe. Kind of. It was a while ago. And thank you. And she'll climb back to her feet. Well, she did respond, but I don't think you're gonna care for the response.
What, was it just to tell us to stay away?
No. No, not at all. That's definitely not her style. No, she said sticking with the pointy end. If I could tell her the specific demons we were going to face, she would give me their weaknesses, but well, my demonology is admittedly a little.
What would that be under? Religion or arcana?
Yeah, I mean,
on my world, probably nature.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a specific demon, you could potentially do an arcana or a religion, but you have no idea what you're going to find down there.
well, does she pay attention to what you see? Does she see
God
what you
damn
see?
it, Robbie.
Oh, whoops.
What?
It plays automatically, my bad.
Oh. I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. Maeve asks, does light, see what you see? Hear what you hear? Like that kind of,
Well, yeah, we are mentally linked. Although, I will say, she constantly seems to be able to hear and understand what I'm going through. I don't really ever get to see her side of it, so I don't think it works both ways. It seems to only go one way.
Is that not normal for your Kalishtar and Quarry Spirit?
No, it's relatively normal. Like, Saris could see and hear what I saw, but I could only hear what they chose to share with me.
I see. Well, I only asked because maybe perhaps if you see it, she can tell you.
Perhaps.
She would recognize it by sight.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna follow me around for an entire adventure through the depths, but
maybe ping her.
yeah, maybe if
I will be listening in case you need me.
You see her stop and kind of smile. Thanks, sis. She'll be listening in case something goes terribly wrong.
Good. Well, at least that is a resource we can count on, as considering we are going into not to put a fine point on it, but the great unknown.
Yeah. Not the words I would use. That usually refers to when you die, but yeah.
Oh. I use it for when I don't know about some big grand thing.
Oh. Fair enough.
Different definitions for different things.
I suppose we're lucky I even speak your language, technically.
That is true. Does your gold also apply, or did you have to get new gold?
I mean, gold is gold. No one has yet commented on the fact that my gold looks different.
Regardless, I suppose the plan is to hit it in the morning.
Hermia, lesson time?
Yeah, I was just asking Chad if he was excited to go in the hole, the dark hole of
It depends.
full of demons.
Are you going to use me?
I kind of do want to like fight some stuff right now. I'm feeling kind of anxious and fidgety. I don't know. Maybe I just need to like kill something.
Rosalind glanced at you and looks over towards the tent with the drow in it. Yeah, fight something. That's what you need.
No, it's not like that. I'm just. This is. I feel anxious about not finding my brother by now. I guess I thought it'd be easier.
Wait, does Hermia have a crush? Kieran pops up out of nowhere.
Kieran, what the hell?
You missed a lot, Kieran.
Where have you been?
Even I could tell this
I've been
time.
here. I've just been a little distracted after the nightmares and all.
Oh, that's a fair point.
But there's nothing like taking my mind off of it than realizing that somebody has a crush.
Not a crush.
It's not there yet, Kieran.
Right.
Working on it.
Right. We'll work on it. Don't worry. Karen's here to be your wingman.
Oh God, I don't like
tried
that at all.
already. She doesn't really respond well without being forcibly pushed.
Well, maybe she just hasn't had the right wingman, maybe.
Oh. A look and rolls her eyes.
Oh, I think it's time to hit stuff with swords now.
I would agree. All right, Hermia, we're gonna try something a little different tonight, and she's gonna lead you off towards a spot where it's safe to move around and there's some moving space.
You could there and actually with a contingent of both the Righteous Brand and some Crown's Guard being stationed here sort of permanently, there is a sort of barracks area where they do have both training dummies set up, as well as sort of like a pit specifically designed for, sparring and blade work and stuff like that. And there's also practice blades around too, and various other types of weapons if you were to use those and something.
Great. So Rosalind is going to lead her over there, and she's going to nod, and she's going to lean her sword up against the wall. And all right, Hermia, you may draw your weapon.
Okay.
So, when we go down there, we are unlikely to be facing things that are going to draw a sword and fence with you, the way you and I do when we practice. So, tonight, we're going to do something that maybe will prepare you a little bit better for what we might face down there. And she is going to go she's going to clasp her shield on. And would they have like a knuckles type weapon, like claws almost? Could I find something like that?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Nope. You kind of look around and like ask some guy who's near, and he's like, punch stuff, just punch stuff.
Okay. Fair enough. I guess we'll just use my fists then. I've got plenty of practice with it the other morning. All right. So I'm going to fight you, but I'm going to be using unconventional weaponry to try and simulate what we're going to face down there. And I want you to practice like that, okay?
Okie dokie.
Okay. And Rosalind is going to, as she said, she's going to try to fight a little bit more ferociously, not quite so practiced as she normally does. She's trying to simulate what at least she believes fighting a demon will be like.
Are you giving her a Uncle Levix lesson?
Yeah, I would say
All
this
right.
is going to be a lot more like when she was training with Levix.
I would like both of you to make a strength check. Roz, you do it with advantage.
Why does she get advantage?
Because she's being ferocious. She's not training, so to speak.
Brood.
19.
Oh, I got a nat 20.
Kind of wish I was out there to see, but she could have just. But okay.
I didn't.
Quick aside. When we were at Katie's parents' house this weekend, cleaning out her old room, and she found like her original Pathfinder character sheet, and I was like, let me see that. Let me see if you rolled like Ari and Hermia stats back then too, and I think her lowest number was like a 14. So yeah, she always has. Anyway, okay, so
That's pretty good.
as you begin, you're not really sure what to expect, Hermia, because every time that you've sparred with Roz, she's always used a weapon of some sort, and you're a little anxious at first. Like, you have a sword, and she's not using anything, and so you're a little afraid if you're going to hurt her or not, and kind of don't give her the respect that you probably should. And the first time that she lands a blow on you is a hard jab right in the stomach. And then she goes after you again, but you're able to sort of evade out of the way of it. And with Fourier Amarth in your ear, basically like spurring you on and telling you like, treat this like it's real. Those demons and devils will not spar with you. Rosalind, there's a moment after you hit her a few good times where Hermia basically like something's turned on, and you can see again, you know that she has it in there. She's been taught the basics of all of this. She's just never had a lot of great chances to put it into practice. But she begins to match you like blow for blow, parrying where it needs to be parried. She's still kind of pulling some of her attacks, but you can reckon that it's probably because she's afraid of hurting you, since she's still using True
Her
Fate.
sword. Yeah. Can I try to kind of grapple her and throw her to the ground?
Yeah, go ahead and make a strength check, Hermia. You can make a strength or dexterity check, and you can do so with advantage from your natural 20.
Nice.
Okay.
I'll spend advantage. Or an inspo. It's athletics to grapple, right?
Usually, yeah.
And then Katie or Hermia, you can use athletics or acrobatics.
Is this a check or a
check.
Yeah.
Skill check.
Athletics or acrobatics check.
Okay.
I'm good for a 23.
I'm on the ground. I don't know where my profession, like the modifier is, but I only rolled a 15, so I doubt
Did you
I made
roll
it.
with advantage?
Yeah, the other one was 7.
Well, what's your athletics and your acrobatics?
Athletics is 0, and acrobatics is, I think, it's 2. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there is a point where Roz gets in a little bit too close for you and sort of gets an arm around you and grabs both your hands so you can't maneuver your blade around, gets you grappled, and pins you down onto the ground.
So she pins you down and kind of puts an elbow against your cheek. She looks kind of ferocious right now. It looks a little scary. But she kind of growls out, "You had best find a way to throw me off of you," and she rears back to punch you.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because all my stats are on like charisma and all that other shit. Like,
make a charisma check,
Mhm.
Hermia.
okay. Come back. Charisma check.
I
That
won't
was-
say Mal's suggestion might not work, but for the story, it would be weird.
That was 18.
Okay. If she doesn't complete this maneuver, are you going to punch her, Roz?
Yeah.
All right. As her fist comes down towards you, her sword suddenly pulses with this black energy. Make a charisma saving throw for me, Roz.
All right, well, that is my best one. Ooh.
Two people are going to learn today.
13.
What is your spell save DC, Hermia?
Hold on. DC 16.
All right. Roz, you are pushed 15 feet back and you take 8 necrotic damage.
Ooh.
Oh,
Hermia,
what did I just do?
As your vestige of divergence enters its dormant state, it has officially bonded with you, and you now have the ability once per day to use a bonus action to activate it, and anything within that is adjacent to you has to make a charisma saving throw or be pushed 15 feet and take 2d6 necrotic damage or half on save.
Can you like put that?
I will write that down
Yeah.
for you. Yes.
Yeah.
So suddenly,
So I
Roz
can add it
is,
to my
Yeah.
sheet.
is
So I'm-
thrown off of you.
Yeah, Roz is picked up and literally just blasted back a good 15 feet, you said?
Yep.
So 15 feet across, and she, slams into the mud and is on her back for a moment, kind of like, that was not an Eldritch Blast. Ow. But she sits up and kind of looks over at you with a smile. Now, it's much more friendly. Well, that was new.
Lord, what did you just do?
That that was you, Romeo. Whatever it is, you connected with me in a way you haven't before.
Oh,
Not sure what it was.
Rosalind
weird.
walks over and she offers Hermia a hand to get back to her feet.
oh, that was cool.
Very. The things that we fight down there, they are not going to go easy, and they will feel no remorse.
I mean, I get that. It's just last time I cut someone with a sword here, it got kind of like, I don't know, excited, and it was really hard to like resist, like just letting it do whatever it wanted to do.
I understand. Let me tell you
So-
something that I have taught anyone I've talked to and anyone I've learned from all understand one fundamental truth about swordplay. When you draw your sword, you may take a life. That
I
goes
mean, I'm
without
okay
saying.
with that, but you're a comrade. Like, I don't want to kill you or have Dad like steal your soul.
Of course not. And we do our best to be as safe as we possibly can. But even sparring, accidents happen.
That's true, but I'm the one with the sword. Like, you have your. I'm sure you probably could still kill me, but I mean,
Rosalind kind of smiles. Maybe. But, well, you know, we started, what, a week ago? You have come a long way in a week. It really was. You know what to do. You have it in there. Just keep working on bringing it out. And whatever you just did there, that was something amazing. I've never seen that from you before. That could be useful. Don't forget how you did that.
Yeah. I'll try not to forget.
Your sword is your ally, even though sometimes, according to you, they can be a little eccentric or...
I mean, that's just how he shows affection. I don't take it that personally.
No, I mean, their desire to take a soul, take a life.
Oh. I mean, it's just doing, like, what it's supposed to do.
That's exactly correct. That is what a sword is to do, but that sword serves you first and foremost, and always. Don't ever forget that.
Okay.
She gives her a hard pat on the back. I'm gonna go rest up because
passive perception.
Garbage.
Mine is 50. Wait, no, perception 16.
10.
You guys don't see anything.
Aw, what do we not see?
If you look into the chat, you can see your ability, Raven's Anger.
Oh, well, there's obviously something else that we don't see.
Yep, and you don't see it.
Oh, I want to know.
I assume everyone kind of gets tense, like, around each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there anything else? Did you guys want to, like, keep watch for the night?
Maybe just one person on watch? Do we need to have two, like, all 6 of us
I
up
don't
overnight?
think so.
I don't think so here. Of course,
Okay.
now that we say that.
No, we say that, then we
Who's
do.
taking watch?
I can do a watch. I'll just play fetch with Luster some more.
Abe?
I threw him a stick and he came back with a bigger stick.
Aw,
I'll do the last watch. Who wants to do the middle?
I can take the middle watch. That's fine.
All right, so as you all settle down for the night, Hermia,
yeah.
before you fall asleep, someone comes to your door. So, what a display that you put on with Roz. Play at your door.
Yeah, I guess.
You mind? And he, like, motions down to feet in your...
I don't mind. Did May put you up to this? She's being weird all day.
No.
Okay.
Be up to this. I know that we've only just met, but the two of us have something in common that, as far as I'm aware, the others do not. The way that we were raised, looking for someone, and my brother's fine. I actually worry about him. You don't mind me asking that you're looking for your brother, did he?
Well, he left, like, on an excursion in the Feywild. He didn't come back, so I went looking for him, and it's just a feeling, but I have a feeling that he's here somewhere on the other side.
And you're sure he's alive?
Yeah, I'd know if he was dead. I don't know. We're twins, so it's a weird...
Oh,
I don't know.
that is a bit different. My brother's looking for someone important to him as well.
His name.
They've been gone for some time.
Yeah, didn't you say that they died or something?
Well, he's not sure. How much do you know about Dynasty?
Not a whole lot. I mean, where I'm from, they're not, I don't know what it is. They don't like other elves, so they didn't really talk about other elves a whole lot.
So our people, once prior to the calamity, were under the thrall of Bolt, the Spider Queen. My people broke away from her and came to the surface. We began to worship another entity known as the Luxon. Through the light of the Luxon, that some of us are lucky enough and display our worth through the dynasty, go through a process called consecration. It allows us to be born through the Luxon. There is a limit. Born, you must pass away within proximity one of the Luxon. Then reborn, and as you become older, you start to regain the memories and the experiences from past lives as well. Brother's partner left a long time ago. Returned. Searching for them, they would have died as long as it wasn't too far away from Luxon. Eventually came back. They always find their way back. Afraid they can't come back. What he's hoping to do with Moon of Sight, or I suppose your Plague of Eyes, it's his last chance. I wanted to add that you found out that your brother wasn't coming back. How would you take that?
Probably pretty terribly. I mean, it's not like I have anything else in my life that's important.
Not true. You have the rest of your companions. I thought you were just a mercenary band, but at least with Rosalind and Maeve, you seem close. Do you have other family back in Feywild?
No, my family is awful. I was supposed to get married to some old stuffy man's son, and didn't really like that, so I left. So I'm not really keen on going back.
Yes, I would probably face some sort of repercussions or punishment for leaving when I go back as well, but I couldn't leave my brother to his own devices. Hopefully they see some reason or justification in that.
Yeah. This is weird. Can I go to sleep?
I'm sorry to take up so much. And he stands up and...
It's okay. I'm just really awkward and yeah, I'm tired.
It's fine.
Good night.
Good night.
Hermia just like just like hides under the blankets.
Oh boy.
All right. Did anyone else want to talk to or accomplish anything during the night?
Not after that, blue balls. No.
All right. Well, your watches all go without incident.
No way.
Eventually, all awake the next day, probably a little just after sunrise, to the sound of workers returning. You hear people coming in and, laying all their shit down, starting to put stuff back up, putting order, tools clattering, and people beginning to head back to work. So all of you come to. What would you like to do here? First thing in...
Grab food and coffee.
Reasonable.
I want to be on the lookout for a drow.
The coffee thing is going to be a little bit hard, as there's no real way to make good coffee out here, but you can prepare whatever food.
Yes.
Leo, go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh boy.
12 plus 8, so dirty 20.
You take a look around. No other drows really pop out to you. You don't see, honestly, even when it comes to it, it's mostly dwarves, plenty of humans, Goliaths, very few elves. You see a few half-elves, but as far as drow goes, you see Clay up near the edge of the ruins, kind of just looking out over its vastness, which now that the sun is starting to come up, all of you eventually one by one, as you take a look, can see now that this chasm goes deep down. You can see within some of the walls, actually, Roz, fun point, there might actually be a little bit more of home here in a way. Between the different plateaus of Vano, which was basically a city within like a mountain,
Right.
Between each of these plateaus, which is like several hundreds of feet from one to the next, see the different eras in like ruins in some of these sheer cliff faces as you were going from one plateau up to the other, and in a way it reminds you of that, but you see embedded in the walls ruins of whatever this past civilization was. You see at points, you know, remnants of towers jutting out of the side, and it starts somewhat shallow with, you know, large cliff faces and steep falls that go further down. There are some cranes that you can see now, you know, that it's daytime, that sort of lower you down to parts further in, but you see this massive Grand Canyon-like chasm before you with remnants of an ancient city just scattered about it that goes down further and further. Because it's morning and the sun's not shining directly down, there are still parts of it shrouded in darkness.
Fun.
But, Leo,
So,
to answer your question, the only drow you see is Clay.
Yeah.
Very well. Rosalind, is there a spring of water or anything in the area? A small pond or just somewhere to like wash your face?
There are some water basins around, barrels of water that are either brought in, or there happens to be a mage somewhere who can create water, maybe. But, you know, asking around, you're able to find some.
All right, yeah. So
Actually,
Rosalind
just make a general persuasion check for me.
sure. 24.
Okay, yeah. You ask around, and they direct you to one. If it was low enough, they were gonna try and charge you for it.
Oh, gotcha. No, so she goes over to a basin and cleans up the necrotic wound that has healed now mostly, but has to scrub away the remains of dying skin. That was not pleasant. And yeah, she's just gonna grab some breakfast.
I am going to recast Lester as lightning type.
Small little bits of electricity begin to crackle and jump around Luster's body from scale to scale.
Good boy.
All right, so I do have one safety tip for dealing with demons. I don't know if we will run into any that are quite on this level of demons, but they are all very interested in making a deal with you, and it is vitally important that you do not take them, no matter how tempting they sound. I promise the price will not be worth it.
I think Chad would be like upset if I tried to make a deal with anything else, so I'm good.
Fair point. Then to the rest of you, Kieran and Leaf, do not make a deal with anything down there that wants to talk to you.
They don't have your best interests at heart.
No.
Understood.
Hey, Kieran, do you want to make a deal?
Leo!
You can make a deal with Leo, but
I wouldn't advise it.
Alright, Leaf, let's make a deal. Our deal is that we don't make a deal with anything except each other.
That sounds like a deal.
All right. Kieran spits in his hand and holds it out. Shake on it.
What is that?
Leaf just looks at Karen's hand.
It makes the deal more, permanent.
You gotta shake, Lee.
No, it
Put your
doesn't.
hand in my hand.
It's symbolic.
You see Leaf's head just kind of like open up like one of those weird dolls, and a little bit of oil spills out onto its hand.
That's alarming.
Slaps Kieran's hand.
Yep, they shake this. All right, deal made, and then walks by Hermia and wipes his hand on Hermia's cloak.
Hey!
Oh, now the deal's on Hermia.
Don't worry, it's organic. I'm sure he'll come out.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
think so. That seems unlikely. So does
who
blood.
has-
That doesn't come out for anything.
Jeez, you guys are terrible.
But somehow the goat blood is less gross.
All right, I'll clean it up. And Kieran comes back over and casts a cantrip, and the stain vanishes.
Why didn't you just do that to your hand?
He
Rosalind
shrugs.
Rosalind glances at Leo. So you're sure that we're okay to head down there?
Yeah, we just need to probably let the guards know that we're going
Yeah.
down there.
That Whitney lady came out of the tent looking awfully dejected.
Yeah, because her boss didn't really like me asking, but I think I got her on our side. We just gotta be on the straight and narrow. So, Kieran, do not steal anything while we're down there.
All right, no problem. I gotcha. And anyone with a passive, we'll say Maeve and Leaf, you notice that Hermia's cloak is still stained, as Kieran used prestidigitation, not like something to clean it with. But just hit it for a second. Although I think prestidigitation can clean it as well, but it's funnier this way.
Yeah. Hey, why?
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Where's Clay?
I point up towards where he's at. He's right there.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm excited.
You're excited?
I don't know why. I just feel excited.
All right.
Okay.
Let's head back. We'll inform the guard that we're ready to head down, and we will make our way to, what is it, shaft A7, you said?
Yes, in the southern reaches.
Fun.
From what I understand, not super fun, but I know that was sarcasm.
All right. You guys head over to the guards, and they ask you specifically if there is any place in particular you wanted to head to, and so you tell them A7.
Yes.
And they mention that no one's over there to operate the lift, so they do send 2 Crown's Guard with you. Excuse me, and 2 lift operators to be able to send you down, so that way you don't have to necessarily walk all the way down through. And it takes about 3 hours walking around the edge of the chasm to where the where this lift is down into the big site you're looking for. And as you go, you pass several Righteous Brand patrols. The more that you see, it seems unlikely that if Clay's brother were to try to get through here, how he would do it unseen.
Zana could.
Zana could. Unless they potentially scale down the side of the wall. But Zana is with you, by the way, just in case anyone.
I was wondering, so that's good.
So you guys head on over and eventually get to this large, 3-story tall crane that is connected to this platform that just has rails along the edge of it. So as you get there, the guard's well, hop on and they'll lower you down.
Thank you.
Rosalind looks at the 2 guards and then at the group of us, and you can see she's doing the mental math in her head, do I believe that they're strong enough? Yeah, probably.
I mean, looking at the contraption, it's automated in a sense. It's not like them having to hold you the whole way. If they let go, you're just gonna fall and
great.
Crash down. However, you have been on a number of lifts, in Venno, going from plateau to plateau. This is not that. Those were made by magic users and dwarven architects, and this is a 20 by 20 platform being held up by one, albeit thick, a single rope.
Yeah, this is when we were in the Stillwell.
And is also the Stillwell. and is constantly like kind of turning and rotating side to side as well. So yeah.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Rosalind.
This is exciting!
Don't worry, it's brought up all sorts of like, large pieces of debris and rubble. I mean, it hasn't been used in what, like 6-7 years, but I mean, it should hold your weight no problem.
Thank you.
Can I inspect the quality of the rope see if it's degraded?
Make
Over 7 years.
Make a perception check. Also, there's not really any way for you to like let us know when you're ready to come back up. So, I guess, do you know how long you're going to be down there?
Well, I've got thaumaturgy. I can boom my voice up here, probably. Make a spark.
It's like, sure, we can try that.
Okay.
Okay.
If not, I will have someone stationed out here every night at every morning at dawn. We'll keep them out here till about noon. So if it's any time after that, just wait till the following day.
How deep is it from where the lift stops at the bottom to the top?
From here, he looks over to the two workers, and they kind of look at each other, and 900,000 feet or so.
Oh wow. Okay.
Far enough is the answer, and Roz climbs on.
Indeed.
Climb on one by one. There's not really a gate. There's just they take down the rope that goes from corner to corner. So you guys climb on and they just kind of tie the rope back up. All right, well, good luck with whatever it is you're doing down there. And they get a large contraption and it slowly begins to, there's a nice jerking motion first that kind of causes you to stumble a bit. And then slowly starts to lower down.
I'll be lower down. I'm gonna head next to Clay. I'm just gonna ask him, just kind of quietly. I imagine we'll recognize your brother, as you will probably be the only drow we see down here, but what name does he, what name could we call that he would answer to?
Name is Lee Zane.
Lee Zane. How do you spell that? Thank you. Go into my notes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
This feels a lot like home. This is strange. Although the
Clay
the
looks
elevators
at
are much
you.
nicer.
Where are you from?
Vano.
I don't know where that is.
Different planet.
It's not this plane.
Ah.
Yeah. Our city is built into a mountain, and this just feels a lot like home, although our elevators are much nicer.
I would hope so.
Oh.
So, after probably about 30 minutes of this, heading down nice and low, it eventually comes to rest. As those of you all step off, you do see some old signage covered with dust, dirt, and debris. But as you kind of go over and kind of clean it off a little bit, you do see on it camps or the dig site that you're looking for, and before you a cavern that seems to go down deeper into the ground. Like to do?
We need some light, right?
I want to cast
You would need
dancing
some light.
lights. Just have the balls all over around us, trying to get the most light.
All right.
What is your marching order?
Roz is up front.
All right.
I want to be in the middle.
Hermia's somewhere in the middle.
Third. There you go.
Leo, do you want to take the rear, or do you want me to take the rear? And not in that way.
This one is fine with whatever. This one will be in the rear if you'd like.
Pretty sure Zana's gonna take the rear.
We will put Kieran just in front of Leaf. Maeve in the front. Maeve, did you say you're behind Roz?
Yeah, I'll be behind Roz.
Right. Theo, did you want to be near the back as well?
Yeah, I'll be the.
All right, we will put Clay in middle.
Do you have dark vision?
Do I have dark vision? I don't believe so.
I do.
Yes, I do too. So does the drow. In fact, I think he has better dark vision than all of us.
And we'll have Zana.
Okay, well, I will help you. We have dancing lights, but I will help you see.
So, as you all descend down into the dig site, you're not really sure what to expect. Looking back behind you, the cavern is all sorts of different levels. There are parts of it that look like you can see the previous ruins of whatever the city of Shattengrod was. Towers, collapsed in buildings. You see part of it that have returned to the earth that just seem like a quarry or a rock pit. And as you descend down into this cavern, it very quickly goes from a cavern to resembling areas of city. At some points you are just moving through cave formations, and then suddenly there is the ruins of what at one point may have been a storefront on one side of you. Walking down an alleyway, the remains of one point could have been suburbs of some type. And it's interesting too because a lot of these ruins, they're old, they're dilapidated, they're destroyed and crumbling, but there's a look to them that tells you that though they are ancient in their time, they were something far more technological than even what you know now from a city like Exandria or a city like Vano. This was a city that was the apex of civilization, that skies, the clouds, and now rests here. Hundreds of years underneath the dirt. So as you begin to make your way through these ruins, I need everyone to make a wisdom save.
Use my inspo for that.
I get advantage on wisdom saves. Nice. Also, I do have my dagger of warning, so just in case.
How do you get the inspo? Or not the inspo, the advantage?
Calistrar.
Nice.
Can I use uncanny dodge on this? No.
You cannot.
I wish. I will take the 16.
Leaf, I've never known someone who rolls doubles as often as you. For good or for ill.
Oh boy, I hope it's not 20. Otherwise I'm screwed.
Leo, what did you get?
Sorry, I was doing math in my head and I'm higher than shit, so.
Good to know.
14. Okay.
Yep.
Leaf,
And then just
25.
and then Kieran.
Play. Hermia, a 19. Maeve, 18. And Roz, 20. So once you guys are about an hour deep, an hour within here, Rosalind, specifically, you notice Kieran as you're trying to keep a close eye on probably Kieran and Hermia.
Mm-hmm.
That Kieran starts to look very uncomfortable and is like staying really close to Leaf, is like constantly like looking around, and you know, at one point, like, guys, I don't know if this is such a good idea. You know what, maybe, you know what we need? We need someone to stay back at the entrance of the cave. That way, if something goes wrong, we can go and get help. I vote that me and Leaf do that. Come on, Leaf. And she grabs his hand and begins to try and pull him back the other way.
Kieran.
We have to stay together.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's been safe so far. Me and Leaf can make it back. Come on, Leaf. Come on.
Does anybody have to
Understood.
spell magic?
Kieran, are you okay?
It's just really dangerous, right? And you're like, hey, you know, if you're gonna be here, you gotta be sure that you're gonna do this, because otherwise you could die and you could get killed, and I don't want that to happen to me. So I think that I should leave.
Kieran, They warned us that people who come here often start to get paranoid.
And Clay, kind of like you see the same sort of thing with him. I feel it as well. There's something unnatural.
Is that like
Every,
kind of magic trap?
I don't know what it is, but every fiber of my being is telling me to turn around, run the other way.
Probably some kind of like protection from what's down here.
Probably. Kieran, I need you to breathe.
Breathing. And I'd like to keep breathing, which is why I want to leave.
I need you to breathe slower.
Alright, now can I go?
We have to stick together. Leaf will be right behind you, and we're all in front of you.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Too bad I suck at persuasion.
Borrow mine.
Or mine.
Who's higher?
I have 8.
8.
I'm
Okay.
only 7.
Alright, I'm gonna channel Hermia's persuasion, because I get +0.
Oh.
Oh, that's not too bad. 24. 16 plus 8.
Okay. Leaf, don't let go of me.
It's fine. Leaf, don't let go of Kieran.
Leaf will just gently put a hand on Kieran's shoulder and just continue to walk forward.
Kieran takes your hand in his.
Maeve will squeeze Kieran's shoulder. We're all here together, and that's gonna be safer than you running off, okay?
For the duration, Kieran and Clay both have disadvantage on all skill checks.
Okay.
Best friend Kieran, if it helps, try not to remember the nightmare you had in the previous night.
Doesn't help, Leaf.
Wait,
Doesn't
that's
help.
not helpful.
Wait, that doesn't help at all. Hermia, can you make sure that Clay's alright?
I'm fine.
He's fine.
Just stay next to him.
Why?
Because you're next to him already.
You're already in
So
the
are
order.
you.
I'm next to Roz. And she goes back. behind Roz.
Hermia's just confused. I just want to fight stuff, okay?
We're going to. Let's just keep
Okay.
going.
All right. I need someone to roll a d10, please.
I don't trust you. I'm doing it. No, I don't trust myself. Someone else do it.
All right, Sarah has spoken. No one in the Scales household will be rolling the D10.
Wait, I guess I can. Hold on, I gotta
Good.
find it.
Hold on, Robbie probably switched this way. 10 is bad.
I know.
I got an 8.
You got an 8.
That means 8 demons. We're fucked.
All right. So, as you continue through the ruins here, eventually you come to a wide open sort of space just past a series of crumbling houses. It looks like at one time it may have been a park of some sort. There is one half of it that is just covered in giant pieces of rubble that looks like it has fallen down from some sort of collapse. But the other side of it is just sort of wide open. There's a pit in the very center of it. Could have at one time been a lake of some sort. The very bottom of it seems to be covered in at least a little bit of water. But more openings on the other side of it, so you continue past a little further. And 2 people give me a perception check.
Nope.
I will
I
help.
will.
Who wants to do it?
Only a 20.
Don't worry, I rolled a 1, so only a 10.
So as the 2 of you are moving through here, you notice nothing, Maeve, but Leo, you do notice, and it stands out to you as being odd because this isn't natural cave formations here, but you do see a few stalagmites on the ground. So you look up top, stalactites, to see if there's corresponding ones up top. And you don't. Think, well, that's weird. As Maeve lets out a shout as a thick, rock-like tentacle begins to reach around her leg and pull her towards one of them. And you all notice now that these stalactites have mouths and teeth reaching
Hey,
for
Sarah.
all of you.
Or when I
And
made
we
you fight one of
think-
these in my game.
Yeah.
And we think
This thing
that's
sucks.
weird.
We are going to do something different here. This is not going to be a full-on combat encounter. We are
Aw,
going to do
I wanna
something.
fight it.
You do technically still get to fight it, but we're going to do something here called a brief encounter. So the way that this works is everyone's going to get to decide how they want to contribute to the overall fight. You get to choose if you want to take an offensive action, if you want to take a supportive action, or if you want to do some sort of strategy. All right, and each of these things are going to determine how much potential damage you take depending on how long the fight goes for. And if you use some sort of resource to do it, you can also get advantage on it as well. So we'll actually just go from the start of it here and start with Roz. If you take a offensive action, let me bring up my rules here so I can make sure I'm right. Sure. Here we go. Separate them properly. So strategy action will help reduce the DC for all the rolls that you're going to do, making it easier for other people to succeed. An offensive action will potentially reduce how long combat goes on for, and a support action will reduce the amount of the amount of damage you take at the end by a flat amount.
Okay.
All right. This is brand new stuff that I've come up with. So if anybody has any questions as to sort of the rules or how this works, don't be afraid to ask. But essentially, you choose what type of action you want to do, support, offense, or strategy, and then sort of describe throughout the course of the fight how you want to proceed. So I will choose for Zana first. So Zana is going to take a offensive action, and she kind of backs off away, takes out her gun, and begins to pop shots off from a distance, specifically aiming for some of the tendrils as they're about to grab onto people.
Am I like just hung upside down right now?
No, it hasn't grabbed you just yet. So,
good.
with that, Roz, what would you like to do?
So Rosalind is gonna glance back at her sparring partner and yell, "All right, Hermia, you're with me." And she is going to do a support action.
Okay.
And attempt to she'll use her what's it called? My protection fighting style to try and shield bash away the tentacle that's trying to grab Maeve, and open up a spot for Hermia to deliver a big attack with her weapon.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a d20 and add your proficiency bonus.
My proficiency
Which is our proficiency 9 or 3 at this point?
3 right now. Yeah.
3, yep.
So 17 is my total.
Anna got 20. Roz got
17.
17, you said? Okay. Maeve?
What action should I be taking to try to free myself, basically?
You haven't been grabbed yet.
Oh, I thought I had been.
It's basically coming to grab you. So essentially everyone's going to
Oh.
pick their action, and then based on the rolls, I will narrate
I
how
see.
the fight went. So you may or may not be grabbed. You just kind of tell me generally what you'd like to do and how you'd like to contribute.
Okay. I'm gonna follow then Zana's lead and take an offensive action to also try to hit at the things to keep it from catching other people.
And if you would like to use some sort of ability or resource that would normally be limited, such as a spell slot, an ability that, recharges on a short rest, a long rest, or even an item such as a potion or something, that could either give you a bonus on your roll or could even give you advantage on it.
Okay. I will not for now. I don't know if I can use Luster for part of this as well.
You can just, mention that Luster is part of the attack as well. But go ahead and roll a d20, add your proficiency to it.
Ooh, that's a 5, so nope.
5 total.
Yeah, I rolled a 2.
Hermia, what would you like to do?
I guess I don't know. Roz created an opening. I'm really bad at describing fighting.
That's fine.
I just want to hit something.
You want to do an offensive action. You want to head in with your sword?
Yep.
All right, go ahead and make a d20 plus your proficiency.
Okay. Oh, that's 18 on the die plus my
21.
proficiency is 3.
For Clay's turn, he is actually going to kind of fall back and sort of call out to everyone where these things are coming from. As you see, there are several of these stalactites around the place, and calls out behind that there is one coming up out of the water as well. He's going to do a strategy. Oh, which one? Clay, that will reduce everyone's DC. Although for some of you, Maeve, it's not going to matter.
Shut up! Roll a 2. I blame Callie.
Kieran will... he's a little scared, so doesn't really want to do it as well. So Kieran is going to fall back and start trying to use some prestidigitation magic and cantrips to attempt to distract and dazzle some of these things. It's not super great. I guess it makes sense because I don't think that these things have eyes. Leaf.
So Leaf is gonna hang back and see if Maeve is going to get tentacled by the monster, and if so, try to like toss like a healing spell or something at her to try to make sure she doesn't die.
All right.
That's
So
kind of
what healing spell are you going to use?
Just like a healing word. First level.
All right, so go ahead and expend a first level healing word. You can have a +2 onto your roll. So roll a d20 and add 5.
Okay.
Yay.
All right, and then lastly, Leo.
Can I do a hybrid strategy / offensive thing?
You have to choose if you want it to be strategy or offensive, but how you want to like flavor it is completely up to you.
Well, basically, I want to use Master of Tactics, the bonus action where I can give people advantage up to 30 feet away from me, but I want to give it to Luster in the way of throwing the pocket chicken that I have at targets that he needs to
All
bite.
right. So really all you have to worry about deciding is, do you want to potentially lower the DC needed for everyone else to be successful, or do you want to potentially reduce the number of rounds that this lasts?
Let's go for lowering the DC.
Okay, so strategy. All right, go ahead and make a d20 roll +3.
Roll for pocket chicken.
Pretty much.
I appreciate you trying to help.
16 + 3.
So 19.
All right.
Damn die.
Thanks to Clay and Leo's strategy, which both succeeded, you got your DC lowered down to 30. So, as this battle begins and these tentacles begin to come out, reaching not just for May, but you all realize for other people as well. Both Clay and Leo begin to sort of call out where the danger comes from, and Leo, specifically having pocket chicken, begins to try and like, Luster, here, over there, go for that one, and throwing this chicken towards some of the tentacles. Luster scoops up the chicken very quickly and then realizes, oh yeah, tentacles, these are probably really bad. And as Zana is popping off shots, severing them, Luster is going from tentacle to tentacle, biting off at them, which opens up the opportunity for both Roz and Hermia to head in towards the stalactites, or the ropers themselves. And while Roz mainly plays more of a support role, keeping some of the closer tentacles off and like bashing them away, Hermia, which Roz, you are so proud, as Hermia, wielding her sword with 2 hands, just begins to go to town on these things. And whether it is the fact that they're not technically rock, or the fact that she's using some sort of magical sword on them, the true fate cleaves through them one by one. There's also flashes kind of going off all over the place too, meant to distract them as Kieran tries to help, but it doesn't really work all that much. Maeve, you're a great shot, but arrows into like these tentacles don't really have the desired effect that you want, and they kind of stick into them, doing a bit of damage. But there are a few that kind of, sneak up on you and do get a few good licks off as Leaf is able to throw a few heals out there as well to keep up people for the little bit of damage that they do have. Combat would have lasted for 4 rounds, but due to Hermia's offense, it drops down to 3. And with the successful support of Roz and Clay, you reduce the amount of damage by... Mind if I... I did not. So, Leaf and Roz, please roll a d4 for me.
3.
3.
All right, 6. So, for 3 rounds, I want everybody to roll 3 of their hit dice.
Hit dice?
Yep.
Okay. What is my hit dice?
Also, make sure that your HPs are currently where they're supposed to be. Everybody should be full at this point.
What is my hit dice?
Paladin's D10, right? Yeah.
I think I'm D8. I just don't see it. Oh, that's because it must be under heal.
If you go into short rest, it'll be in there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Do we add our con?
No, this is just the hit dice.
Okay.
So out of a possible 30, I rolled 27.
Jesus. Well, take 6 off of that.
All right. 21.
So whatever your total is,
20.
subtract 6, and then you
14.
take and then through this fight you take the rest in damage.
14. I rolled 20. All right. 14.
Actually, make that take off a total of 10. I think I should have had you guys roll d6s instead.
Oh, okay.
And what if you rolled under a 10?
Then you took no damage.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, wait, no. Otherwise.
30.
Warlock is a...
What coughed on me?
I rolled a 6, a 2, and a 1.
Yeah, Rangers are also D10s. I never remember that.
Guess makes sense. You're a third caster, too.
Well, not even that. I think it's just because they consider us almost half fighter. I get double attack. Or 2 attacks.
So,
right now.
within 3 rounds of combat, you guys are able to finish off the fight. Some of you being a bit more wounded than perhaps others and a bit winded. But your first foray into the ruins against the Ropers is...
Nice. I'm going to
Hermia's pumped.
Yeah, Hermia actually did a good job of the 4 or 5 Ropers, which, by the way, if you guys actually fought 4 or 5 Ropers, that's super deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two
Hermia
Ropers
took out 3 of them on her own.
Nice.
And your sword. I just want you to know that every time that I want to talk about your sword, I almost instinctively refer to it as Chad. And I know you're not here, Kieran, but
Blame
fuck you.
Kieran!
I do. Your sword, though, is very proud of you.
Oh, does Lester take the same amount of damage I do, or do you want me to roll for him separately?
Lester doesn't take damage. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. All right. That chicken healed him right up.
So I take 19 damage, but minus that from something or no?
Minus 10 of that, so you take 9 damage.
Okay.
I'm going to lay on hands myself for 17 to get back to full.
That's nice.
Yeah. How much damage did you take, Sarah?
I took 10. But
10? All right, well, you took none. No, you took only 2.
Nice.
I'll use the rest of my lay on hands on you. Rosalind walks over and kind of puts on a big smile for Hermia. That was very good.
Yes, excellent job.
Yeah, the
Quite
sword
fierce.
was just excited to fight, and I guess so was I.
You got this.
Well,
Way to go.
we will definitely need that power, I think.
All right. Now, someone who's not Hermia. Roll a d10.
You can roll it.
Okay. I had to ask for permission.
Whatever you pick, I'm gonna say it's the wrong one. Don't drop the die.
5.
Right in the middle.
All right. So you spend another several hours combing through these ruins. And there are a few telltale signs, Roz, as someone who has had to deal with a few walking around demons. There's a few signs of, I'd say as a paladin now, with some of the abilities you have, that you can begin to sense before you even get close to it, and you're able to keep hushed, keep people quieted down. And you don't ever see any of them directly, but you see some of the telltale signs, demonic, infernal, scrawled onto walls. A few times have to make your way through dilapidated ruined old buildings. See remnants of sacrifices, bones piled high into corners, circles etched on the ground, infernal burn marks, brimstone, and you're able to mostly steer clear of it as you try to make your way these ruins, trying to hone in on where you think this feeling that Clay and Kieran were first afflicted with. And the deeper you guys get, the more you're traveling. All of you can feel that itch on the back of your neck that makes your skin crawl. Needles on the back of your eyes that makes you feel like someone's watching you. Someone's behind you.
I'll expend a couple of divine sense to try and keep us safe and away from demons.
All right, go ahead and choose how many you want to expend.
I've got 5. I'll expend 3 on this trip.
Okay, then we will say that for the duration of this trip, you are actually able to avoid all demons, all undeads, all fiends. But by this point, you feel like you've probably been traveling for 8 or 9 hours. Managed to keep yourself away from any other fights or any denizen. There's a few times that you come across some goblins, some denizens of what you think may be from the Underdark as well, some sort of subterranean creature that has jagged armored plating all over its back, but you're able to stay quiet enough and make your way around them, or at least wait long enough for them to move on to where you them. Did you want to take any short rests, long rest, or would you like to continue on?
Well, if people need a short rest, I know Roz was kind enough to heal me, but I know that wasn't extended to everybody.
Yeah, if we need to do a short rest, I'm okay with that. I do not like the idea of trying to sleep in here, though, unless we absolutely have to.
I would rather not do that. Although trying to come back out is going to be a bit of a nightmare, I think.
So, does anyone need a short rest?
I'm good.
I'm fine for now.
Okay. No, we'll just keep moving.
Roz.
Yes.
That's
You want to play a game? Play a game with
Rosalind gets the shivers and looks around. Can I divine sense to try and see where this is coming from? Anything within 60 feet?
Can.
All right, she will divine sense.
Right on the edge. 59 feet away from you.
Of course.
You sense demonic presence.
Rosalind is gonna stop and turn and glance. They know we're here. A presence. I would all be on guard, be ready to go.
Okay.
There's not gonna be any sneaking around this one.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I'm not looking to hurt. I just want to play. Play with me.
Gosh.
Rosalind will she's gonna have her sword and shield out. Hello?
Silence.
Are you talking to it?
Nobody else hears this.
Oh.
That's great.
Yeah. Everything okay? What is this thing?
I'm not certain, but it's 2 voices speaking to me in my mind.
Well, that's
It's not in your mind. You hear them, Roz.
I do physically hear it. Okay.
You physically hear them.
Okay. And it's 2 voices speaking to me. One like a child, one less so.
well, I certainly don't hear anything.
Really?
No. Point
I'm
of
gonna.
view?
All right, just watch my back. If anything makes a move on me, start shooting. Got it?
Yep.
Cool. She looks at Donna. You too. Don't think I don't see you back there.
Gonna do a ready action.
All right, and Rosalind will start to slowly approach the direction that she sensed the demon in.
Okay.
Her shield kind of at the ready.
Start to make your way back towards it. It seems you passed it somewhere. So you're heading back that way. You're getting closer. Closer. You don't have dark vision, do you?
No.
But I do.
I do.
Thanks, everybody.
Great, thanks.
I'm behind her.
The
What
meme
can I
is
say?
alive and well. Paladin, do you
I
have dark vision? No. Everyone else, we do.
Well, I'm behind her, so I didn't know if that helped.
Yes. And I assume your dancing lights are still up, Hermia.
Yeah.
So we'll say that as you kind of get about 40 feet away, just around a bend, you see the silhouette of what looks like a child out.
Ooh. Ooh.
Are you gonna play with us? Play with us.
So does only Roz see this?
Yep.
Okay.
Rosalind's eyebrows raise. What do they look like? What does this child look like? Is it just like a black silhouette?
Are you gonna get closer?
No.
As of
Hermia,
right now, all you seem to see is a silhouette.
Hermia, send some of your lights over there, please.
Okay.
She kind of points where to send them.
Do you see something?
Send
Yes.
a light bouncing over that way. Make a perception check for me, Rod.
It's my worst stat. No, that's an 18 though. 18.
I was gonna say you could channel one of us next time.
That's true.
Would you get an 18?
18, yeah.
Okay,
She rolled
so as the light gets a little bit closer, you get a brief look at her before she kind of hisses and pulls back behind into the shadows more. You see a young girl, elven, but her eyes are just voids. There are no eyes. See a mouth that creeps up almost to like ears. Long, tattered, ratty hair. She's wearing what looks to be, at one point it was a white dress, but is ratty, tattered, stained. And she's holding on to a doll. Very much the same way. Part of its face is caved in. It has one eye, a crooked smile on its face, pieces of straw that used to be hair, and a dress similar to her, as she recoils back around the edge away from the.
Is it a ghost?
I don't see anything.
It's a demon actually.
Okay.
It's a young girl.
We just want to
Okay.
play. We're so lonely.
Does your sister know what this is?
around.
Do you have a name?
Marigold.
Sorry.
Marigold.
We don't-
Sorry, I don't hear it. I couldn't
Okay.
resist though.
Sorry. Oh, okay. I didn't know if you thought we heard it.
Boy.
Just play hide and seek with us. Come and find us.
Don't play.
Do you know
Nope.
what it is?
Rosalind turns and glances back. It is a child asking us to play hide and seek.
Just
and
you. Just.
Actually,
don't
it just
think I
wants me
need to
go
tell
play. I'm
you.
gonna say no.
You can't
so-
hear this, Hermia.
Yeah.
Well, no, but she's telling us
Yeah.
like what's like talking, like what
Yeah.
it's
No,
saying.
you don't. Don't worry. No, we're gonna continue moving. It has been absolutely lovely meeting you, Marigold.
Please
we're
don't
gonna keep
leave. Play for their sake.
Well, that was intimidating.
What
Was it?
What did it say?
Sad to play for your sake.
Like us as a group?
Yeah,
Or
like you 5, 6, 7. However many hell people we have here now right now.
see.
7, I think.
Okay, so it's going to try to trick you to make a deal by knowing your main weakness, which is trying to protect us.
Yeah.
So I would avoid that.
Yeah, probably.
And
Yeah, no, I don't have any interest in playing hide and seek with demons. So, yeah. No, Rosalind turns back. We are moving, and we're moving.
Everyone, please be on your guard. They're
Yeah.
gonna make something happen. I just know it.
Weapons up. Available if anything makes a move on us. but
Please
we're just
don't
gonna keep moving.
leave. This is your last chance.
Rosalind is ignoring that shit.
Is there
No,
anything special we should know about this? Is your sister saying anything?
she is not. No,
Okay.
she is. I don't know if she can actually hear it. To be fair, I can hear it, so she probably can.
You're all
Okay.
leaving. I need everyone to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh boy.
Yay!
Hey.
My best stat.
Yay. My worst stat. I will take an inspo for that one.
15.
To get my inspo up again.
Oh, I got a natural 20.
I shall
Uncanny
also
dodge
use
it.
Natural 20
inspiration.
plus what? Put it in the chat.
8, I think. 8 or
Yeah,
9.
you're 8.
8.
All right, 15.
My negative.
Kieran failed. No, not again. Isn't charisma his highest stat?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
rolled a
you roll a-
5. So
I just feel like whenever you play Kieran, it's always like any saving throw just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's like poor Kieran.
Maybe Mia should show up.
I
Well,
just
maybe.
realized that for some stupid reason, Discord, because I'm in a call, paused my Spotify playlist. But I normally keep it muted so I can't hear it. So there's been no music this whole time
Oh, sad
because
pandas.
Discord was
Being a
stupid.
dumb.
Yes.
Damn you,
Damn it.
Discord.
Discord does be a dumb sometimes.
These fucking Windows updates, man.
It's okay. I thought I had accidentally left my mic unmuted this whole time, except I guess it just doesn't mute, so that's cool.
Yeah. I think it's because I attached or I connected my Spotify account to my Discord because I thought there was a way to play music through Discord that way, but it's just to let people know what you're listening to.
Oof.
Cool.
That
All right,
is-
so I will let you know. Oh, okay, so y'all continue on.
Oh,
You don't know
okay.
if you failed yet? Great.
You
that's
continue
concerning.
on, and
Did you roll?
Yeah,
nothing
15.
nothing seems to happen.
All right.
Yeah, that's bad.
Aces.
How many are you counting?
How is it bad that nothing happened? That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great news.
Metagames, it's bad. In the game, I'm thrilled.
So
Roll the
as you all continue on, Roz, you keep looking behind you.
Yeah.
Seem to be anything. And as you turn around to go forward again, see sitting up on sort of this little carving in the cavern on like a ruined part of a wall. You see that doll. And it's looking down at you.
No.
And its head kind of tilts to the side.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Don't worry.
Don't like this.
They're gone. I'm still here. And just watches you as you walk by.
Good. Marigold. Ugh.
Did you see something?
You don't see the doll looking at us right now?
What doll?
Ugh. Rosalind just shudders. What kind of doll is this?
It just looks like an old, like, children's porcelain doll.
Yeah, it's not like an animal or something.
Right, yeah, and like
Yeah.
half of its face has been like broken
Yeah.
or caved in.
Of course.
You see the other eye, which is just black and lifeless. It has a little bit of like a crooked smile to it. It maybe once had like blush painted on, but that's starting to like flake off.
Yeah.
You see multiple holes in the head of where the hair was, but now there's only maybe a few pieces of like straw sticking out of it. And it has rags of what used to probably be a beautiful dress, and one of its hands is missing. But since it's made of porcelain, you just see like this jagged like piece of porcelain where the hand was, but broke off.
Oh,
And the body is made of like cloth or is stuffed with something, but the limbs in the head are made of a.
Let me see. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna keep delving deeper, I suppose. Roz is going to try to ignore the doll.
All right.
Okay.
With that, could someone please roll? Someone who hasn't yet, please roll a d.
I don't wanna.
Leaf,
Your
you
turn,
do
Sarah.
it.
Oh yeah, good at Leaf.
Go ahead, Leaf. Is Leaf here?
Leaf.
Leaf.
I'll do it. Oh, Leaf?
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 Sorry,
Leaf.
I was peeing.
Oh, it's okay. Can you
Roll it.
A
Yeah.
9. Oh boy. That's a 9.
9.
Yeah, I don't like 9s.
Dun dun dun.
It's just too close to a whole number. They make me mad.
Upside
What?
down it's 6, and if you get 3 6s, it's 666. So we're screwed either way.
Very, No, I hate the number 9. I hate like, if I get a 9 on anything, I'm just like, why can't it be a 10? Or like a 49, why can't it be a 50? Or 99.
I guess.
99s are the
As
worst.
you
But you
continue.
can't have a 69 if you do that.
As you continue further on in these, you come to what seems to be. You've been through districts of this ruins where you can kind of see what maybe they used to be once upon a time with enough imagination. Park, at some point, suburbs or residential area, marketplace, some kind perhaps. But now you come to an area that seems much straightforward compared to everyone. Going through the market, going through these residential areas, you had varying ways to push through these. But now you find yourself on a singular path with walls that stretch up higher than you can. Not sure how high the cavern potentially goes, but the walls go straight up on each side with not many doorways or havens side of you. At one point, as you're walking, Maeve, you trip on something. Turn and look back. Watch your step. And you see this doll sitting there,
Oh.
staring at you, its head kind of lolling to one side.
Roz, did you see like a porcelain looking doll?
Yeah, like the side of his head caved in. Yeah.
Okay, well now I'm getting the spooky visions. Just told me to
You
watch
do
my
not
step.
see this one, Roz.
I don't see a doll.
Well, good. Now I'm the crazy one.
You're not crazy. There's demons here. I'm telling you, walking around demons. They're not great.
Yeah, they're trying to make you see stuff.
Okay, let's just keep walking. Ignore me.
Okay, Maeve. I'll watch
What
over
is-
you.
Why does it know my name? Please don't watch. No watching over me.
Oh, it didn't
Don't
know my name.
interact with it.
I said he would watch over me and said my name. What am I supposed to do?
Watching all of you.
Okay, let's just keep going. Now he's saying he's watching all of us.
At
Just
least,
talk to Chad.
at least the chosen ones.
What? He said he's talking to the chosen ones.
Aren't we all the chosen ones? And that kind of the whole thing?
I guess. I don't like that it knows that. Keep going. Ignore
But
me.
otherwise, as you continue to trek now for another 2 hours through this area, you start to see signs of perhaps this being. You know that Shattengrod was a high mage society. Like any society, especially those that have particular advances in magic or the sciences, you start to think that perhaps where you are is some sort of maybe a military district, or someplace that wasn't necessarily open to the general public. You start to see areas that look like perhaps they were cells of some sort, containment places of some sort. And as you get further in, you come to a door in front of you. or at least a doorway, massive, maybe 20 feet high, 15 feet wide. That is currently open only about 4 feet. Darkness on the other side of it.
You say the door is about 20 feet wide, you said?
20 feet high, 15 feet wide, but it's only
Right.
opened about 4 feet.
Okay. Rosalind kind of glances back at the group. If I open this, it's going to make, she glances up, probably a lot of noise if I can open it. It looks heavy. So
We can all fit through there, Clay says.
I know. I'm just saying if we push the doors, if something is hiding on the other side of those doors, they will get pushed.
Could we maybe listen to see if there's anything on the other side first?
How about you send your lights in first? We'll start with that.
That's
See
fair.
what we can see.
Your lights in, Hermia?
Yeah.
Send your lights in there. Slowly disappear into the darkness. You can still sort of see, obviously, the lights in there, but this room seems massive. And there isn't much you can make out from out here.
Ah, hell. All right. Rosalind will
You're
take a couple
scared.
of-
I can go in first, Zana calls from the back.
Rosalind gives her a look. Yeah. And she'll make her way in.
Anyone following?
I'll follow.
Yeah, I'll follow. I'll have my bow and arrow out though.
Was there anyone who wanted to stay back?
No.
We'll say that Kieran's a bit hesitant. Kieran kind of stays at the door, and Clay and Zana are back there with them.
Okay, fair enough.
As you all come in here, and Hermia begins to sort of send the lights around, expanding the area. There's a center console in the middle, and you begin to notice that there are these large sort of stations on the north, or what you would perceive as the north side. East and the west, you seem to come in on the south. And connected to these docking stations, you see these massive, hulking, like 20, 25 foot tall golems, machines of some kind, all just covered in dust, in bits of pebbles. What would you like to do?
Rosalind's like points to one of them. Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a golem that big.
Is there a way to activate it?
To what end? Why would we want to activate it?
I know I'm saying I don't want to.
Oh, fair. Is there another door on the other side, or does it
Looking
seem to be like the
around.
end of the road?
Make a perception check.
Six.
Make it with advantage. I assume somebody else is probably like looking around as well.
14.
Okay. So taking a look around, you don't see any doors in the traditional fashion that you would expect to be like on the other side, for example. But there is an odd pattern that you notice on the ground about 15 feet out all around from where this center console is. And while a lot of it's covered with some debris or thick layers of dirt and dust, you kind of take a moment and begin to like move it away and kind of clean some of it off. And you can't be certain, but the floor may be able to open up in some way. There might
it
be
leads
something
down?
underneath.
Rosalind will kind of point that out as she walks along. Maybe that center contraption there can open up the floor.
Okay.
Well, I would check for traps if you're gonna go up there bobbing around shit.
Leo,
Alright.
we are in your hands. Go for it.
Fine, I'll be the sheep.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting because this is ancient technology that you're dealing with here. So, Leo, I would like you to start by making an Arcana check for me.
I put on the mask first.
Probably a ball. So you put the mask of... What the fuck was his name?
Not Bob.
Yeah, not Bob.
Whatever your old buddy's name was, who I forgot already.
I don't even know if that was like pre.
And as you do, you feel this presence sort of like you over for a moment in looking down at this console before you, covered in the dirt, covered in dust, covered in all sorts, and to kind of pick up small rocks and toss it away. But in some way, somehow, this oddly sense to you. Make an Arcana check, add +10 to it.
By the way, his name was Elroy.
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 Try and tie and tire.
Elroy.
I had Edgar in my head.
So, yep, go ahead and make an Arcana check with +10.
That is a 16 plus 10,
So
26.
26. Looking it over, you don't necessarily understand what you're looking at, but you do know that there is some sort of anti-tampering enchantment. Go ahead and make a Thieves' Tool check.
Since I'm proficient in that, would that be
So
D20 plus?
So it would be D20, your proficiency, but this isn't really dexterity based, so I'm going to have you do D20, proficiency, and intelligence.
Dope. Probably not as dope as I thought it was going to be. 7 plus 3, 10.
Okay. So you watch as Leo begins to hover his hands over this console. And runes begin to light up, following where his hands are going. And you have no idea what you're doing, Leo, but you kind of like understand, like, all right, this shit is dangerous. Maybe I can kind of like intuit my way around it. As he's doing this, you begin to hear ears grind, shake. The begins to shake a bit, and then you hear a loud slam noise behind you. You turn around just in time to see Kieran jump away from these doors, Clay and Zana on the other side now as they slam shut, and the entire chamber begins to light up from the ground up to the ceiling, and you see several of these golems light up, and you hear booming throughout the room, something that anyone who speaks Zemnian understands as Shattengrod defenses activate. And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Oh boy.
Oh no.